charged with conducting hearings to determine whether an alleged violation of the city code has occurred. Decisions made by this quasi-judicial board will be based on the evidence and facts presented this evening. Our meetings are conducted in accordance with Robert's Rule of Order, and each case will begin with the city presenting its evidence of the alleged violation. The respondent will then present his or her case. Both parties will have an opportunity to cross-examine all witnesses. The board members may question any witness. Ooh. Comments by both parties must be relevant to the case. Persons wishing to speak will be given an opportunity to do so by the chairman and must address the board from the podium after giving their name and address. Upon request, copies of materials submitted by staff are available for review. Board members are reminded to obtain permission to speak from the chair, and questions of the city should be directed to the attorney for the city. At this time, I'd like to ask all persons who expect to give testimony this evening to stand and be sworn in by the city clerk.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony or evidence you're about to give or present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
On occasions, we'll be taking cases out of order to accommodate the respondents and the witnesses that are present tonight. And tonight is no different. We will be taking case number find it for you. Well, where'd you go? Where did you go? Case number 21-1935, City versus Brianna, and I think it's Ponce. Well, that'll be our first case this evening. Before we begin, we would like to discuss our ex parte communications. I'll now ask members of the board if they've had any ex parte communications with anyone.
I think that's Ms. Cox.
Okay, well, you can have a seat. I'll call you up when it's time. Okay, that's okay. Thank you. Glad you're excited. I will now ask the members of the board if they had any ex parte communications with anyone regarding any of the matters that are coming before the board this evening. If you've had verbal ex parte communications, please disclose the when, where, and with whom those communications occurred, as well as the sum and substance of those communications. If you have received written ex parte communications, please disclose the form of the written communications, who sent you the communications, and the sum and substance of those communications. We'll start down this end. Bill?
I've had none.
You had none?
I've had none.
Bill?
I've had none.
Had none.
I've had none?
I've had none.
Thank you. Okay, we can begin with the first case.
Minutes.
Oh, minutes, sorry. I always forget about the minutes. Okay, so everybody has received a copy of the minutes held on May 12th, 2021?
Yes.
I move to approve the minutes.
We're not there yet.
Oh.
Does anyone have any additions or corrections to those minutes?
I did, and I sent it to Jennifer.
You did, okay, so you have those?
I do, and actually, I reread those, and they were fine.
Okay.
Okay, so there are no changes?
No changes.
Okay. Seeing we have no changes, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? No nays, motion carries unanimously. On to the first hearing.
Case number 21-1935, City versus Brianna N. Ponce, for the property located at 7909 Citrus Drive. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 6-3, animal disturbance. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Thank you.
All right, good evening. Ernest Mueller, Deputy City Attorney for the City of Temple Terrace. Today, this case is a matter of a barking dog case. It's a case you don't get very often. I want to let you know that in the city presenting its case, it's going to supply testimony from Officer Silva, from Police Officer Brown, and from one of the neighbors. And we'll start with Officer Silva as he'll give his normal spiel on the case.
You're up.
Good afternoon, board members. Jose Silico, Compliance Officer. This case originated on April 23rd, 2021, after receiving an animal complaint form from the Temple Terrace Police Department. This time I contacted the complainant, Ms. Walls, and ascertained the dog was still barking through the night, disturbing her. I advised her I would be completing a notice of violation and posting it at the residence of the dog owner. I completed the notice of violation on the same date with a compliance date of May 3rd, 2021. I posted the notice as well at the home as well as City Hall. Also mailed copies, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the registered owner. On April 26, 2021, I was contacted by Ms. Ponce, who is the owner of the dog. She was inquiring how I conducted an inspection on the property. I advised her the notice of violation was generated from the complaint filed by the police department. On May 3rd, 2021, I contacted Ms. Walls and learned the dog was still barking, causing a disturbance. I asked her to keep track of when the dog was barking and, if possible, to record video and audio recordings of the dog barking. On May 14th, 2021, I generated an amended notice of violation of hearing for irreparable, irreversible violation. I posted the second notice at the home as well as City Hall, so mailed copies both certified and regular mail to the address of the registered owner. This time I would like to submit some photographic evidence and the police report along as my evidence.
Thank you. We'll accept those.
On exhibit number 3, there's an aerial of the property showing the locations of Ms. Ponce's residence, Ms. Wall's residence, and Ms. Adams' residence in relation to the dog barking. Number 1 was Ms. Ponce's
Can we go back to that a minute
Oh, yeah, I need to see
so that you can tell us who's 1, 2, and 3?
Number 1 is Ms. Ponce's residence, number 2 is Ms. Wall's residence, and number 3 is Ms. Adams' residence.
Okay.
Or the
Thank you.
complainants on the police report.
Thank you.
Also, what I'd like to do, because you don't get dog barking cases very often, I did print out copies of the code for you. I thought I'd put it in front of you. Want to give Ms. Ponce where?
Thank you.
And at this time, I'd like to call Officer Brown. And if you could, please state your name
Riley Brown,
and how are you employed?
with the police department, Temple Terrace.
All right. Now, in the course of your duties as a police officer for the city of Temple Terrace, did you serve a nuisance animal complaint at the address of 7909 Citrus Drive in
Yes.
Temple Terrace? All right. Is this the complaint?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to give a copy to Ms. Johnson.
Thank you. Tom, outside.
When did you serve the complaint?
April 2nd, 2001.
And to whom did you serve the complaint?
Brianna Ponce.
And did she sign as receiving the complaint?
Yes.
And when you served the complaint, did you advise Ms. Ponce, is it Ms. Ponce or Ponce?
Ponce.
As to the basis of the complaint?
Yes.
Okay. And what was that basis of the complaint?
That she had 2 neighbors complaining that her dog was causing a disturbance in the early morning hours, keeping them up.
All right. And did you advise her of what action she needed to take?
Yes.
And what was that action?
To keep her dog quiet.
And did you advise her as to what could happen if she did not stop the dog from barking?
Yes.
And what is that? What would be the next steps? What would occur?
That code enforcement would get involved.
And the complaint itself also contains that language, correct?
That's correct.
Did you return after 3 days?
I did not return. I made phone contact
With who?
with the complainants.
With the complainants. All right. And what did they advise you?
They advised that the dog was still barking and that the issue had not been resolved.
All right. I have no other questions. I don't know if you have any questions for us.
Ernie, I have one clarification. In the beginning, you asked her a question about once you've made contact, and I heard April 2nd, 2001. So I'm sure you meant 2021.
2021.
Okay, I just wanted to make that clear for the record. Yeah.
This was, this is the complaint. I'm going to pass this around to you all. It was already provided by Officer Silva in the thing, but I'm going to give you a hard copy of the complaint to look at also
Thank you.
and to put into the record. All right. I don't believe Ms. Concha has any questions for her. That's all.
Okay, well, before she sits down, we may have some questions. Does any of the board members have any questions?
I do. In the previous cases, we've actually, I think the police officer has witnessed the dog barking. Did you actually witness? Any
Not
of
that
these?
I recall.
So it's strictly based on complaints from neighbors.
That's correct.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is the dog kept outside or inside?
It's an inside dog.
Inside. And are they complaining about him parking inside or outside?
They're complaining that the dog is outside in the early morning hours barking.
Any other questions? Thank you, officer.
We do have one of the complainants here, Ms. Walls, and I'll have some questions for her if you want to step up, Ms. Walls. If you could please state your name.
Hi, my name is Amy Walls, and I reside at 7904 Tangerine Drive. We share a walkway with the neighbors that the dog's barking. Even though we have different street address, our bedroom is facing each other, and the only thing separating is just a walkway. We're like about, if we actually had to measure from one end from our property to her fence, it would be about 20 to 30 feet difference. So,
All right.
but I appreciate you hearing me out today. Didn't really want to be here, okay? I don't want to be the person who complains about against neighbor. This problem started back in 2017. We had animal control involved, and there was nothing been done. So I had to change bedroom, and then it never stopped. It was back in my stuff for a couple of days, 3 days, and it started again. We actually went one morning at 4 a.m., we actually knocked at their door and said, please, keep the dog inside. Please, you're not the only neighbor who has a dog. All the neighbors around us, every house has dogs, every one of them. But the only dog outside barking throughout the night is the dog at 7909 Citrus Drive. Drive you crazy. When I mean crazy, I mean crazy. You know, I'm sorry, I'm emotional.
No, yeah, no problem.
I'm
And
emotional.
we're going to actually get some examples of that as we
I'm
talk about it.
emotional because it's just unbearable. You're waking up at 11 p.m. and then you're waking up again at 12 a.m. and then at 4 a.m., 6 a.m. regularly. Basically, in some days the dog is outside They have a doggy door. They don't appear to walk the dog, so the dog have a bathroom use on that part of the fence that's close to us, and most nights they shut the doggy door for the dog barks, so he can let be in. Nobody's letting the dog in. The dog just excessively barks, till you lose your mind and want to go out and do something. Seriously, day in, day after. So, I mean, you might get like, if you had a day's sleep, you'd be like, oh, thank goodness. That is like a miracle, okay? So we just, like, we came to the end. I was like, we kept on calling the, Temple Terrace Police Department, thinking, oh, if the police come and knock at the door and tell them, please keep the dog inside, please, they never complain. I thought they will stop. I don't know how many times, I lost count, how many times you called the police, how many times the police came and knocked at their door. Some days they're not even opening the door. The other day they will have confrontation with the police while inside the house, verbal exchange, and it just never stopped. And I'm like, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, if a policeman, a law enforcement come to my door and knock at my door and tells me, this is what you got to do, someone complain, I'll definitely take notice. But that didn't happen. That wasn't the case. It happened day after day. I think that Temple Terrace PD was fed up with us by calling them. So they said to us, you need to fill the form, and then we'll address it for you. And even though we didn't want to complain against neighbors, we were forced to do that, and hoping, oh, that might help. And like it was explained to you, the complaint was served to the address at the 2nd of April, and we were told, oh, they are given 3 days. They will change it in the 3 days. I said, all we need is the dog to be inside the house at night, at least at night, so we can get a peaceful sleep. And 3 days came and went. Barking never stopped. Actually, the more the police come and knock at the door, guess what? The next 3 nights, it will be rampant. The more the police knock at their door, the more the dog is outside, the more the noise. So we were like, what are we gonna do? And then after the complaint was served, never stopped, still calling the Temple Terrace PD. And then they were like, okay, if he hasn't, I have a video of actually the police interaction with them. I also have that knows the dog barking while the police were witnessing. So they said to me, okay, we're gonna have to pass this to the court enforcement, so the court enforcement will take care of it. And I was like, okay, hopefully that'll take care of it. And it was given to the court enforcement, I think they were 27th of April or something. We were like, oh, hopefully someone will take notice when this happened, I hope they take notice, this is serious. Guess what? Maybe a couple of nights, it never stopped. Did not stop. Goes on and on and on and on. I'm like, what else do we have to do? So the officer gave me his cell phone. I started recording it and actually texting it as I hear it at 2 a.m. There was text that is about 2:30, maybe 4 a.m., midnight. I keep on texting the video. And I was like, and then I think, then he said, okay, then we're gonna have to bring it to the board. Okay, we got the things that saying it's gonna go on the, you know, June 9th to the board. I was like, oh, hopefully that will cut it out. No. No. It kept on and on and on. Only the noise, I started cutting down a little bit, starting on the 30th, around the 30th of May. It kind of like subsided a little bit. From then on, it subsided a little bit. And I was talking to the neighbor next door to the 7909, and I learned one of the person who lives there, a guy would start walking the dog. And I'm like, okay, but I could still hear the dog, but during the daytime now and then, but it was not, you know, waking us up all the time, you know, like he used to. And I'm like, okay, hopefully that will be it. And then guess what? Last night. Yeah, last night
Well, if I can,
happened. So I appreciate your
I'm gonna ask you a
help,
few
sorry.
questions, Ms.
Okay.
Walls, if I can. All right. You have in front of you a aerial photograph of your properties.
yes.
Which property is yours? Is it number 1, number 2, or number 3?
Mine is number 2.
Number 2, all right. And Ms. Ponce's residence is
Number 1.
All right. Is there any street running between your two
No,
properties?
just a
So
walkway.
They're adjoining properties.
Yeah, if you see the fence, the outline of the fence, I have a video if you want to look at it, how, when I shot it from my window, how close it is. The fence runs all the way to the walkway. So the dog has the ability to come all the way to the walkway. So that's, yeah.
All right. And you talked about recordings you made.
I did, yeah.
We're gonna
So-
play
and when I
a few of those
can.
recordings right now.
Not all the
if we
time,
can.
when I can, because I can't get up at 2:30 a.m. when it's waking me up, looking for my phone and I try to record and, you know, it's,
Well, let's
Okay,
let's listen
sorry.
to a few of these recordings.
okay.
All right, if we can have recording MOV 1940, which was May 9th at 11:05 a.m. We don't have any volume.
I have. Sunday, what time is it? 11. Okay. Okay. Right again. Okay.
I believe this is actually recording number 2. This is on May 11th, 9:38 p.m. As you can see, it's dark. And you know which one's playing right now? They seem
It's
to
at
be playing.
night.
Well, all right, let's play MOV 8997.
Before you play all those, Ernie, I noticed none of these are time-stamped.
Oh, I
So-
have a timestamp on my phone. You can actually look at
Let me
it.
finish.
Sorry.
So, will she testify that the date that you're saying it is?
That's what I'm hoping to try. and
Okay, perfect, thank you.
do. I don't know, if we play MOV 1940 again, without the timestamp being on there, are you able to confirm what they, and the time you took those?
Oh, yeah, I took it was my
If you-
phone,
if you
my
wanna grab your
devices.
phone real
Yeah,
quick
my
and see
devices
if we
has a
can sync that
timestamp.
up.
Yeah.
And you took these recordings, correct?
I took these recordings
And
with my
they-
phone. Yeah.
They are depicting the dog barking and what you experienced over the past 7 months
25%
accurately?
of it, yeah, accurately, yeah. Because I can't record everything.
Right, and so this is really just a sample?
This is
So
just a
nothing-
small sample.
Yeah. So, do you have them? Well,
Yeah, I'm just turning it up because I had to turn my phone off for disturbance, yeah.
We kind of got a little taste of the dog barking, but again, we're over the recording. We're recording it, playing it. Is the dog barking loud?
Oh, yeah, you can, because there you cannot hear it as
Right.
loud, but here, if I have dates in here that I'm gonna play for you.
Really what I want to try and do is use those up there, but I want you to confirm the date and time,
Sure,
the day and time of them.
yeah,
And the first one is MOV 1940.
let me just get the bill out, sorry. So which one you're playing?
1940.
19. Okay. Sorry, I'm just getting it out. Because I send a lot of videos. Is that the one I sent you? What day did I send it to? 1940, okay. Yeah, okay, the May 9s, okay. Okay, I'll put 509. Okay, go ahead. I'm ready.
All right. Can we try and play 1940 again? And then you can tell us what day and time this one.
Sunday, what time is it?
11.
Okay. It's noon.
Should be in your emails or something.
Yeah, let me just get the email out. Okay. Right, that was at midday around 12. 12-ish. Okay.
Well, how about we try and find a different one?
Okay.
MOV 6919.
Okay, let me see. Okay. It said. Okay, so it's. Just give me a second, sorry. I just have to go into the send email. So which number is it? Did you say 19?
6919, 6919.
Okay, 6919.
I don't think it's
6.
Since we're having a little technical difficulty here,
Well, why don't we do,
go ahead and ask. She sent me the times and the days, and I'm gonna ask her if that sounds correct.
What if I'm permitted, what I want to do is I want to pass it to you, my phone. You can click and you can see the time. You can play it yourself.
if he asks you to, if he asks you and you confirm, I think
Okay.
that'll
You can
work.
play MOV 6919. And does this, you indicated to me that this was May 11th, at 9:38. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So this one was during the night.
Yeah, it's 9. That day I remember correctly. I recorded it. 9:04, 9:33, 9:38, 11:56. Okay.
And if we can play MOV 8997. And you indicated to me that this was the same night, 2 hours later, at 11:36.
Yeah, yeah. That's 9:30. That's 9:30. It's been barking. It's been barking since 9. It's mid-11s. There we go. Yeah, this keeps on barking.
All right, we can go with MOV 2422. You indicated to me that that was May 12th at 10:22 PM. Does that sound correct?
Yep. Okay, it's past 10 p.m. May 12. Dog is barking. It's outside. Been barking earlier too. Okay.
All right, let's try, what would be video 3. And Ms. Walls, you indicated to me that this was May 17th at 3:52 PM. Does that sound correct?
Yes.
It's at 3:52 PM.
Yes.
PM. It's May 24th, 9 o'clock. May 24th.
This is a different
Dogs
video,
been
May
barking.
24th.
Woke us up at 6, and now again,
And video 7,
May 20.
this you indicated was May 28th at 10:30 PM. Does that sound correct? Does that sound
May
correct?
28th, around 10:30. It's been barking last night. It woke us up at night twice at night. Now it's barking out again. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably not. All right, And as we indicated, this is only a sample of what you had
Just
to
the time,
experience.
the sample, part of that I sent you, I have more in here as well.
The
That
dog barks
ye-
daily?
daily, 3-4 times a day. We came to the point, me and my husband, we were like, my husband like supposed to sleep until midday sometimes because he works different hours, shifts. We came to the point, like, at least even if they keep the dog indoor at night, that would be something. But no, it's 3-4 times at night in some occasions. Twice is sometimes, but more often is 3-4 times because once it's outside the whole day. This barking is not because someone came and not knock at the door. This barking is not because someone is walking. This barking is to get attention of its owner, to gain access indoor. Because the doggy door is shut on the dog.
Now, when this dog barks during the day and during the night, is it disturbing your peace, comfort, and quiet?
Oh my God, it's disturb peace, quiet, compromise my health, compromise my everything. The way I interact, it's compromised because can you imagine not sleeping for 2-3 days in a row? You're waking up 3-4 times at night. How can you can't function the next day? Your brain, your mind is fuzzy. You can't concentrate to do your daily tasks. You can't concentrate. You're not productive. My productivity decreased.
Place this in front of you. This is, you made a complaint with the city,
Yes,
and is this the complaint you made?
yes,
And that's your signature?
yes.
And there's another complainant, a Ms. Deanna Adams and Noah Adams?
Yeah, they're out of town at the moment, but my husband is also the signee. He's here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've talked to the Adams about the dog?
We always
And-
discuss
and
it.
Did they indicate to you whether it was disturbing their peace and quiet?
Yeah, it disturbs their peace and quiet. They have 3 kids, and it disturbs everybody because they have 2 little dogs inside the house. And once that dog start barking, they take over and they disturb inside the house. If the noise is disturbing, their dog noise disturbs them, plus is also encourage their dog in the house to be awakened, disturbing all the kids and them at the same time. Like I said, they're not the only one who has a dog. All the neighbors, 3-4 neighbors, 5 neighbors in front, side, there are a dog. The next door has a dog. That lady afraid of bringing her dog out because it barks, right? She doesn't even let her dog. Everybody keeps their dog indoor. You don't even know all these people in the neighborhood had a dog. Because I was telling my husband yesterday, oh, so and so had 2 dogs. He said, oh, I didn't even know they had a dog. I said, yes, they do. Everybody, the front, side, left, right, everybody had a dog. That's the only dog. It's disturbing the neighborhood. Everyone, all the neighborhood is talking about is this particular dog.
Right. And Ms. Walls, I don't have any more questions for you. I don't know if Ms. Ponce has any questions for Ms. Walls? Oh, yeah. Should probably come up here so you can be picked up by the microphone.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Brianna Ponce, 7909 Citrus Drive, Temple Terrace. I see here, and as you've stated multiple times, I would just like to make this clear. I don't like the fact that she states that my dog is locked outside. That's animal cruelty. That's not the case. I have a doggy door in which my dog is able to go outside and use the bathroom as needed, come in and out. So I'd just like to clarify that, so it's not like my animal, in the state of Florida is outside in 100-degree weather trying to get in and cannot. Absolutely not the case. As well, yes, because I saw in here, to gain access into the house, so it's just a little bit of assumptions, and, not facts, are being said. And I do understand with my animal, I am a single mother. I do live on my own. So my dog, I bought my property in 2013. I've had
Why don't you step in front of the microphone so we can,
And if I can, I don't want to stop you
Yeah.
from giving your side. You actually get an opportunity
Yeah.
to. This was just to see if you had questions for Ms.
Oh,
Wells.
yeah, the assumption of, that my animal cannot gain access into my home and that I lock him outside. I'm just curious as to how you came to that.
Because from our second floor is the bedroom. We look down, when the dog keeps on barking, we can see clearly the doggy door. Because if the dog is not barking, because people are walking around, if the dog is not barking, if someone is knocking at the door, dog is barking throughout the night, there is no access for the dog. We can't see it. From the second floor, we can see down. The dog cannot get in. The thing is shut. Like I said, there is an occasion when that was left open for him. He might come out, bark, woof woof, and might use the bathroom as indicated, and will go in. So our problem was like the dog barks incessantly throughout the night in previous occasion. And we can see it from our bedroom because the fence is down from our first floor. We can see what the activities there, where the dog is in or out, or why he cannot go in, why not someone coming out to see why the dog is not, why keep on barking. Nobody's coming. Nobody's opening there is a slide door. Nobody's opening the slide door to see if the dog, what's going on with the dog. It's that's why we are coming to that cemetery. Not only that, there was officer, so I have to get my paper here. Office and on April 4, 2021, there was Officer S. Martin that was called because of the disturbance at 6:30 a.m. in the morning, who came and witnessed the barking, knocked at the door, which the dog was barking, knocked the door and had exchange with the owner, and it was,
let me just try to make this a little more efficient. She asked the question, how you can tell that the door, she couldn't get in, and your
yeah,
answer is
from
you can see it
from the second floor, yeah.
Okay, thank you, that's your answer. Okay, any more questions for her?
I just want to let you know,
Okay, you have to, first, do you have any more questions for her?
questions, yes. So you saw that my doggy door is closed. You could see from your second floor exactly with a doggy door that is the same color on each side, that it is closed and shut to where that animal cannot get inside the house.
It's not the same color.
It is.
It's not the same
But
color.
it is. I could go and,
Okay, you asked her a question, she's giving you an answer.
I'm just giving you an answer. It's the same color. And the doggy door might be the same color white, but the one that goes in and out, it's not, because we can't see it's shut.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Why is the dog,
Wait, no,
Left
no,
outside.
wait, no, you can't, there's no,
sorry,
the interaction should have happened before you guys got here.
Sorry.
Okay, but, so are you done with your questions? For her. Now, if there's things you want to say, we'll ask her to sit down and you can have the floor.
no, because I'm just getting the same answer, so I have no further questions for you.
Okay, so is there anything else you want to say to us?
Well, I guess when it's my time to talk.
That's what I'm asking you. It'll be your turn to talk if you say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Have a seat.
Okay, so, on,
Again, why don't you just for the, keep the record clear, state your name and address again.
David, we're not gonna be able to ask the first.
Let's let her speak and then we'll take care of all the questions at once, okay?
oh, this isn't? My name is Brenda Ponce. I'm the owner of 7909 Citrus Drive, Temple Terrace. Well, like I just questioned, my dog is never left outside at any time to where he cannot get in. That doggy door is free for him to come in and out. There are times that I close it when he's inside the house. I know how he can get. I do have a neighbor, though, on the other side of me that also has dogs. Like she stated, the whole street, the whole block has dogs. So there's times that my neighbor that's connected, where I'm one, we're connected, and we both have the same back gate. So they have about 3 dogs. So there are times that their dogs are let out, and my dog's let out. So that's where some of this barking comes from. Her dogs are more quiet. My dog is to have me stay alert. I purchased this house in 2013. I've had him since 2013. I haven't really had any issues, major issues with Marley. And sometimes, you know, you say, why didn't you let him in? You know, I work pretty much 2 jobs. I take care of my daughters, but when I am there, I am aware. I do bring him in the house. It's just if I have to work, you know, 10 hours, 12 hours that day, there's no possible way for me to let him out. It's, you know, so I do leave that doggy door open. I think, I do see, yes, absolutely, some of it, but I think some of it is like around, some of the videos are like 3:58, 11 o'clock. I was under the impression if it's anything after 6, no, before 6 or 5 a.m. or after 11, that's when the problem comes in. Yeah, but like she has children as well as the other in the back. I've been living there for about 8 years now. I haven't had any issues, you know. When this came around, I went to my neighbor, not these, and I'm pretty sure that I think I should ask her this question when she was up here, that both of them, their kids play together, so they're very well acquainted, both of these neighbors. My other neighbor, I went to her house on the other side of me, and I said, you know, I got the neighbors back here, you know, I know Marley can, you know, be a little bit sometimes. She's like, oh no, it's okay, I know. You know, so I kind of went around, and I don't really have any other issue with any other neighbor. I mean, I do apologize on behalf of him. But some of the timestamps are like 11 o'clock and stuff like that, which I probably am at work. But at the time being, I did have somebody staying at my house to try and resolve this issue. So these other times that this happened, I am unaware. Everything that was, you know, dated from me, that I received from code enforcement, that's why I even called Mr. Jose Silva. And I was like, you know, I don't understand, you know, what's exactly going on. You know, I resolved the issue. If he goes out there in the middle of the night, he'll maybe bark once or twice, and I bring him right back in. And then he just let me know that she's still calling on behalf. I mean, she does have children as well. Like, there's times that I've been woken up by her kids, but I'm not calling code enforcement at 9:30 in the morning, you know, or I'm not calling the cops. There's other things that go on that her children has woke me up multiple times when they're all outside yelling and playing. They're banging on my fence. They have my dog riled up too. But none of this is on recording. You know, it's just they're kids. I would never dare. But I've been taking the best measures I can to stop what's happening with my dog. You know, it's just how he is. He, you know, if somebody's around or he's there to be alert, there to let me know. And especially after I had my daughter, he's just very alert now. And I'm working on it, but.
Okay, do we have any questions for any of the witnesses? Go ahead, Rod, and then you go.
I just was wondering, is that recording from inside the house with the windows open or closed? And is that disturbance that you're getting with the windows open or closed?
Come up to the podium, and you'll take turns depending on who the question's for.
Most of the recording is the one at night, as you can see that was the door closed, was the window closed, everything is closed. So when we record it, you can see the difference of the sound that's coming. You can hear me opening the window, and you can see that the noise is more or less, it's this.
The same, you hear it the same? That's
Yeah, we hear it because even when we are on the other side of the house, which sometimes used to sleep at, you can still hear it. The dog is so loud.
I don't mean to tell you to shut the window. I mean, some.
No, of course we shut the window. We don't sleep with it. You can, in some of the video, if you want, I can actually, if I can bring it to you, you can click on any of
No, you can't do that.
You can actually
But
see
your
me
answer is,
opening.
but your answer is that when you made the recordings, the windows were closed.
Yeah, we start at the beginning of the recording is the windows closed, then I open the windows.
I will just mention on one of the recordings, I think you hear when she opens the window, it becomes.
Louder, yeah, okay.
And if I might say one more thing is, she mentioned about the kids rattling the dogs. You can hear from the recording, is most of them is recorded at night, and whenever it's recording, there is no interference. You don't see people walking by, or you don't see kids playing outside or anything. We do have a neighborhood kids that play around together outside in the daytime, and I don't have kids. I have one child, and I wanted to make sure the defendant, I would want to make sure that she's honest about her kids. There's no kids in there, and she doesn't have custody of her kids, and the kid, she doesn't have the kids. I just want to make sure that.
Okay. Next question.
I just,
Go ahead.
another question for you, please. So, as far as the noise that bothers you, when the dog is in the house, that's not when you're
No.
having, it's when it's
I mean, yeah.
outside the doggy door, and that's when you hear the noise.
I'm not gonna complain about someone having their dog barking inside the house, because everybody has a dog. That's their home. They could do whatever they want. I'm just complaining the noise that's coming, the volume of the noise coming to our home during the daytime is when the dog is outside. I've never complained from the inside. All I asked was the dog to be indoor. And I also want to make clear that I'm not accusing of animal cruelty or anything. This is not what we are here for. We're only here for.
Okay.
You answered the question, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Any other questions?
I have a question
Yeah.
for Ms. Ponce.
Yes.
Do you deny that, what she's accusing, that your dog is loud and raucous often?
I don't think often. I took the measures I needed. You know, I think that there are other things that come into play when it comes to my animal. I have other neighbors that are not just her with other animals. You know, and I feel as of right now, this is a malicious attack. I'm actually in awe with some of these allegations. And, well, yeah, no, yeah,
The night, and it sounded loud to me, so I mean, it was your dog, right?
absolutely.
It sounds like it's happening.
Yeah, but a couple of those videos sounded like that was coming from inside the home. Not,
Does it matter if it's inside or outside, if it's
Well,
loud?
no, well,
if
that's,
it's loud?
hang on, that's discussion for later. If you have a question for her, ask her the question.
It sounds like it is loud, it is your dog.
And also, I wanted to ask, what size is this dog? And
8 pounds.
what is it?
8 pounds.
Samir, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question for Ms. Ponce. So, during your testimony, you said you get some of the complaints, right? So, I'm guessing you get some that it's barking at night. I think you mentioned in the middle of the night a couple of times. So,
Yeah.
how often does that happen?
Not often. I mean, I haven't heard it recently, you know, at all. That's why if it's happening, we're pulling him in, or I had somebody at the house. Because if I'm there and I hear it, he comes right inside. I get him right in.
But you're aware that it happened in the middle of the night.
I'm aware, yeah, I mean, I have the complaints about it, so, I mean, I have to be aware.
You don't know how many times. I think you said once or twice.
Yeah, I mean, you let him out to go use the bathroom, and he hears something, and he starts barking. Try to get him back in.
Okay, thank you.
Bill, do you have another question?
Yeah, I have a
One more
question.
question.
So, is the doggy door open 24/7? Is it, or do you close it at night and lock him up, or is he free to go in and out any?
At the nighttime, we've been we close it, but, you know, I still have to let him outside to go to the bathroom. I can't keep him in for 8 hours at a time. So I have to let him out, and if,
So when you go to sleep, you leave the doggy door open so he can come in and out. That's
but I sleep downstairs.
okay.
So I actually sleep with my dog. So if he's up and he's barking, I mean, I hear it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You said you work like late sometimes.
Yes.
That's typical that you work 11 o'clock at night or
All depending, yes.
morning time, maybe latest.
Yes.
Okay, so it's completely possible you're not there and he's barking.
Yes.
Thank you. Ernie, I did have a question for you, if I may. This particular Temple Terrace Code of Ordinance is referring to nuisance animals. The complaint that was issued, do you have two signatures for it from two different addresses?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, let's see, I'll point that out. You have Mr. and Mrs. Walls, Brian and Amy Walls at 7904 Tangerine, and you have Noah and Deanna Adams at 7910 Tangerine. Both of them are across the lawn walkway. They are adjoining properties,
It is two.
as you can see.
Two distinct addresses and two
Yes.
distinct signatures. Okay, thank you.
I have a question for
Go ahead.
attorney. Do we have the time, the exact time that no disturbance, no, does it,
What, I guess, what's the code say?
what does the code say?
The code that I handed out to you just has no time. It just says, no owner shall keep, house, own, maintain, or have in custody any dog, cat, or other animal or fowl within the limits of the city, which by loud or raucous noises or by destruction of damage of property creates a nuisance or disturbs the peace, comfort, and quiet or infringes on the property rights of adjoining neighbors.
No time, though. It doesn't list the time.
No.
But we know by everybody knows it's 11 to 6, is it? What's,
There's no,
Code, this particular code has no time
no
attached to
time?
it.
But there's no code for noise ordinance.
There is a code for a noise ordinance, yes, but but that's a separate, it's separate,
Oh,
yeah.
that's different.
this is a nuisance animal, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bill.
Just a question for you also. So this says that it's this case is for irreparable and irreversible violations. Is this, as far as any kind of fines or findings, is this different than a normal code violation where we would say, if this isn't corrected within a certain number of days, is this totally, I mean, because it also mentions something about a
Right.
$5,000 limit.
I'm glad you asked that, okay, because what we do, we have a barking dog. The person, and if you'll notice, and if you heard the testimony, the officer had served this complaint the beginning of April. And then when it had 3 days to abate it at that point, had a time to bring it into compliance. Testimony was that it didn't come into compliance. The dog continued to bark through, April. Then code enforcement got involved, served, and their original notice of violation gave a deadline date of May 3rd to have the barking stop. That did not occur, and that's why you'll see all the examples we had were after May 3rd. I wanted to be sure we didn't have anything that was before that deadline date. But at that point, we did amend the complaint because there had been opportunities to cure, and the dog continued to bark, disturb the peace and quiet and comfort of the neighbors. And so we turned it into an irreparable, irreversible at that time, which means that you just give a one-time fine for all these different violations, much like when we have the parking on the lawn type of situation where
Repeat violation.
it's a transient type of violation, so we went irreparable, irreversible with the idea, and unfortunately, the statute says up to $5,000, but obviously you'll give it what, you'll weigh all the evidence and come up with a we would ask for a one-time fine for this.
Do we have any previous cases like this to, because honestly, I wouldn't even know obviously we want compliance, right? That's, I mean, if I was the neighbor, I would want the dog, if I can't sleep, that's horrible, right? So, but do we have any precedent as far as what we would?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know if the code enforcement officers, I've talked with them, they indicated to me, I don't want to testify to it, but indicated to me that really there's, this is a rare case, that's
We
why.
had one case, yeah, I remember one, yeah. Right,
It was lack of evidence
right.
because the dogs were outside, people were walking by the sidewalk, and the dog was barking. So the evidence was not to the level.
Tom, did you want to come up here and talk to them, just because of the record?
Tom Baroni, Code Director. That case was probably about 5 years ago. And it was Overlook Drive, and it was a dog case, and the dog was constantly barking. But the dogs bark when people walk by. That's just the nature of it. So the evidence that we produced that evening was lack of evidence, and they felt that the respondent was not guilty at that time. And there was another dog case that on South Lockmore, and that was very similar, and the respondent was not found guilty either in that case. Those were the only two cases that I remember in 13 years with barking dogs. Okay?
Any, I know you can't really answer, but any rough idea about what it would take to get compliance? I mean, it's,
What do you mean, what does it take to get compliance?
well, I mean, we're talking about a fine, right?
Well, that's not up to him, that's up to you.
I understand that, but I don't know.
I have one more question. Also, it's a technical thing. So the dog, not actually for you, Mr.
Okay,
Bruni.
okay.
It's for the owner. Your dog.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Let her step up to the podium before you ask.
Your dog. It's got that doggy door to the back of your yard. You have a fenced backyard.
Yes.
That's what I understand.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
not going into the street or anything, just going into
No.
the backyard.
Yes.
And it just goes in and does whatever he has to do and then goes back in. Is there any way, like, when he does that, you won't be at home at all? So if somebody walks him out, walks him in,
Well, no, I mean, I have somebody present always at the house. So that's why I was a little thrown off as to when I wasn't there, why that person I put in charge to be sure that this wasn't happening, wasn't calling the dog in. So I'm very confused because I come home and how's Marley? Oh yeah, no, not barking. He's good. I'm like, okay, that's why when I called Mr. Silva, I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So,
and my last question is for the other lady. Also, did you ever hear him parking inside the house and disturb
Hang
you?
on, Rod, let her step to the podium before you finish your question.
I'm sorry. Did you ever hear him parking inside her house and it disturbed you?
We hear it is from the inside the house, but the disturbance is not as much, and we are not asking her not to keep her dog. We're asking to keep the dog indoor or have for him to go to the bathroom on the back side of the fence, because there's two sides. The one we are sharing is the front side. She also have a patio, a fenced patio on the other side, which has a street separating from the other neighbors. So if it is possible, for the bathroom area, can we move to the other side of the fence?
But it's not disturbing you as long as the dog is inside and parks inside, it doesn't disturb you.
I'm not gonna complain that when the dog is inside and barking at all. And I want to say one more thing, because she mentioned malicious. Till today is the first day I actually knew what she actually looked like, and I haven't learned her name.
That's
Okay.
really.
I just wanted to know it's not malicious.
Okay.
There was nothing.
Thank you,
like
appreciate it.
that.
Any other questions for Code Officer Count? Go ahead.
For Ernie. So there were multiple people said the police was called multiple times on multiple occasions. Do we have a number of how many times the police was called?
No, that would probably be, if that's from the walls, they would have that information.
Okay, the police doesn't have that.
We
Okay.
have a case number, at least they were given to us 4 case numbers.
4 case numbers.
4 case numbers for the call out and they're witnessing the barking.
Okay. What's the time frame of those case numbers?
Please.
Yeah, come up to the podium.
Sure. We called them around 5 a.m.
No, just give me the.
Okay, 6:30 a.m.
No, just give me the start date and the last date.
Oh, okay. March 26th to April 5th, 2021. After they served the complaint form, the police didn't want to be called because they told me
Come out every time, or it was phone calls?
the phone calls, they come out.
They came out every
Yeah, they
time.
come out. They drive around, they come out. Yeah.
Thank you.
But after the complaint was served, we were told they passed it to the court enforcement to contact Mr. Jose.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
One more question, Ernie. Sorry.
It's for Ernie. You can sit down. Thank you.
You said there were communication with the second complaint, with the second neighbor?
I'm sorry?
The second neighbor,
Yes?
there were communications with the second neighbor? I heard there were.
Communications, well,
As
I
far as the-
asked Ms. Walls if she had talked to the neighbors and whether they had communicated as to whether or not
But
they too were being, their comfort and peace and quiet were disturbed.
Okay. Thought I heard there was a complaint and a signature on a complaint or
There is.
something like
Yes,
that.
on this one right here. If you don't have a copy of that, I can pass this one around.
I think I saw that.
We have
but-
it, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we have it.
You want to see it again? I mean.
Please, yeah.
And again, Ms. Thompson, same thing.
Here. Ernie, he can just look at this one.
And Ernie,
That's the
can-
police.
sure. Can you explain to me what that is exactly? That one, I think.
Yeah,
It's this one. This one right here.
Yes. What is, no, what is
Yeah,
it?
what is it exactly?
This is the complaint that was filled out by the Walls and the Adams concerning the barking dog. It was made out to the police.
And
They
it has-
signed it, and as required by the code, that there has to be 2 people, 2 separate addresses adjoining properties.
Okay,
So that's what we have here, and then they signed it, and then this is what got served on Ms. Ponce by Officer Brown.
all right. Thank you. Thank you.
I thought of a second question for you. So, what happens if we assess a fine and the property does not come into compliance? Is there what's the next, is there an?
Since it's we're processing this as an irreversible. If you make a finding tonight that there's a violation, and whether or not you assess a fine, and if it occurs again, then there will be another notice of hearing. There won't be a notice of violation and a time to cure. It'll come straight back to this board again as a repeat violation, a repeat irreparable, irreversible violation.
I mean, Ernie, do you think we can give the owner of the dog some more time to get in compliance and control this and give her some chance, or?
Well,
is
Rod,
Yeah,
that's for us to decide,
okay.
and that's, typically we give people to the next meeting, and so. It's up to you, though. That's not a
That's
question.
really a board determination.
It's a board concern, not an Ernie
I mean, I
concern.
can make my recommendation, but that's really a board determination.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Thank you.
This would be an existing violation.
Yes,
Yeah, it's,
yes.
yeah, you have to rework that,
Do you have the irreparable, irreversible?
I don't think so.
We do not have, we have existing, complied, complied in existing.
Okay.
So in this case, we're assessing a fine based in the past, but similar to if you cut down a tree, it's obviously gone, you can't replace it. You know,
Right.
you would get assessed a fine, you don't get another month, you know. it's not gonna grow back.
Right, we're saying that the violations have occurred, they cannot be cured, there can be given no time for, you know, we're just asking that it be treated as irreparable and irreversible with a fine.
Fine or not do it by next month.
Correct, no time.
So that's how effective.
Yeah, that's what the city's asking.
That's what the city's asking for.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sorry, my mic's not on. In case number 21-1935, City vs. Brianna N. Ponce, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code existed at the property located at 7909 Citrus Drive. Applicable code violation is section 6-3, animal disturbance. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer and other witnesses, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of the hearing. I further move that said violation be, scratch that part. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before, scratch that part as well. Upon considering of the following factors, the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $500 total.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second, just, excuse me, just to open up.
We have a second, any further discussion?
Yeah, this is a very solvable problem. I mean, I don't really think that there is no precedent necessarily as far as making a fine for it. I think that we should give them the chance to be neighbors and be friends and fix it before anything else. I mean, like she said, that was the first time they've seen each other face to face. So I personally,
So you'd like to amend the motion to give them some time to comply? Is that what you're saying? Okay,
Correct.
that's your position, okay. Bill, and then you, Samir.
Yeah, I struggle to see how a fine is gonna encourage compliance, honestly. I just
It's an animal.
struggling with that. But it does seem like there could be, we could make some suggestions perhaps on ways that they could, like take the dog out on a leash as opposed to the door, but.
Go ahead, Ernie.
If I can, one possible suggestion is one could make a finding tonight of whether or not there's a violation. And if you want to set off the fine, continue the finding of a fine until next month and see if things have changed in that month. And then if it hasn't, the city would be, certainly asking that a fine be imposed. I understand what you're saying, and if what I'm you guys want to at least, before a fine gets imposed, see if this problem can be fixed. But we would ask, that there be a finding, but you could maybe, if you want to continue the actual imposition of a fine until next month to see what's happened.
I
have a question
Yes.
on that.
Go ahead.
How are we gonna verify that it's working?
how many more police cases?
We have
won't complain.
rules here.
Yeah, how many more complaints?
Code enforcement officer.
I mean, will, the compliance officer have to make visits, or you just complaints to the police, or?
I assure you the neighbors will continue to let the code enforcement officers know whether or not there's compliance.
We'll probably be looking for a better quality video with the sound.
I just feel like we need some kind of formal follow-up.
Well, our code enforcement officers follow up regularly on cases that continue. And this case is no different. They will continue to follow up. And like I said, I assure you that the neighbors that are here this evening will not let that fall on deaf ears.
Yeah, I agree with you, and there is a violation, but I'm leaning towards giving them the chance to see one more time. It seems to me I heard both of them. They're both genuine. She said she tried, and she was very puzzled because how could that dog go outside and park? And she tried. She put a little bit of effort, so that's why I'm leaning towards that.
Samir?
I think what we usually do in normal cases, we assess a fine and there is a 1 month grace period, and
That's
if it's
true,
not.
but this one is a little different because it's been deemed irrevocable and irrecoverable.
Yeah,
So
I get that.
it would, if it were a normal irrevocable case, the fine would be applicable today, now, this minute.
Right.
But what I'm hearing from multiple members is that you would like to give the respondent some time to try to rectify the situation and make the neighbors happy, which,
Correct,
if
correct.
that's the case, then somebody just simply needs to suggest an amendment to the motion and have the person making the motion accept the amendment and re-say the motion.
It just seems like a fine would harden the situation. It's gonna just make whatever relationship they have even worse, and I don't know that that's.
I just
gonna
need somebody
encourage
to
compliance, so
suggest an amendment.
I would suggest an amendment to impose no fine at this point. I think there's more than enough evidence to say that there has been a violation, but let's give it 30 days until the next code board meeting, and see how many complaints or what improvement there has been. If there's been no improvement, then, you know, we can see whether it's lack of effort or whatever it is, but
Correct.
I think,
The complaint, I mean, 1 month of no sleep is really a big issue.
I mean, I have 4 kids under 7.
True.
I know what it's like to not have sleep.
And maybe for the next meeting, you know, I know if it was my neighbor, I would not be happy about it.
No, I mean,
And I don't want to have to call the police 4 times in order to get that into compliance. That's really my concern.
my thought process is it's better to have friends than enemies.
Oh, I
If
understand
we walk
that.
out of here with a fine, that relationship isn't going to be, there's no chance of fixing it at that point. That's kind of how my perception of it, and from my experience. And no one wants a feud with their neighbor, and I certainly sympathize. I've had neighbors with barking dogs. I totally get it. But at the same time, I mean, we're adults. I think we can come to a more amicable solution than a fine.
Okay, so the suggested amendment is to allow the respondent 30 days to rectify the situation. If that situation is not rectified by our next meeting, which is going to be held on, somebody help me,
July 14th, I think.
July 14th, 2021, then the fine of $500 will be imposed on that date. Does that fit the legal parameters as you understand them, Ernie?
I mean, I understand what you've done. I'm trying to figure out if that's the kind of
The way to do it.
that's one way to do it. You can just, kind of defer the imposition of the fine is really what you're doing. The question is whether you've already set your fine at 500, and if things don't improve in the next month by July 14th, then that you're going to make a motion to impose the fine, or whether you just want to wait and impose the fine at that time once you hear what's going on. It's however you want. I think both will be fine. I don't know if one's cleaner than the other.
Okay, well, my interpretation of what I heard from the board was that we will vote at the next meeting whether or not that the fine of $500 as motion tonight will or will not go into effect on that particular date. If the situation resolves itself, then the vote would likely be that the fine will just go away. If the situation has not rectified itself and continues as has been testified to tonight, then the vote would likely be that the $500 fine would be imposed that evening.
One more question. Also, if we impose, I hope everything will be resolved, but if we impose the 500 and the parking keeps going on and on, so that's another issue we've become, so hopefully.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
We'll come to it.
That's what Ernie said, it would then be a repeat violation. We could throw more money on this if we chose to.
Because you can control sometimes the kids, but not the dogs and animals.
Yeah, but that's a bridge we'll have to cross if we need to. Okay, so we have a motion, we have a suggested amendment It is now in your hands, sir, to whether or
Yeah.
not to accept the suggested amendment.
I'm not going to. I'm gonna make you guys vote against it because I think that there's definitely damages in this case that have gone on for a very long time. I know what my sleep is worth, and it's a lot more than $500 for the time that she's been disturbed. She didn't deny that it was her dog or that it was barking all the time. I really hope that they figure it out on the side, like neighbors, but I think $500 is, I'm willing to find somebody that for not cutting their grass. I have to be willing to find somebody for having a dog bark
Okay, well, let me,
during this period of time. So I'm not going to amend my motion.
let me
Unless we vote on
explain
it.
to you what happens if you don't amend your motion.
Yep.
If you don't amend your motion, it will likely fail.
Perhaps, yeah.
That means that the respondent will walk away with scot-free, essentially.
Don't,
We can't make
no,
a second.
You would make another
no,
motion.
No, no, if the
Yeah.
motion, he makes a motion and the motion fails, you don't get another motion. If the motion doesn't get a second, but if he makes a motion and we vote, it's just like any other case.
I already seconded his motion.
Yeah, but the motion's already been seconded. If the motion just gets voted down, then it's just like somebody coming in here and we say there was no violation. You don't get a second bite at the apple.
I don't think
need
that's
clarity on
correct.
that
I
then.
think that, so you can make another motion.
On the same case? I don't, you're gonna have
It
to,
just says
if a
that
motion fails, that's my understanding.
Yeah.
Until one's approved?
Yeah, it just means that you're not with that motion. See, it would take someone to say, I move to dismiss this case for it to be, or I find that there was no violation. That would be the end of the case.
okay, all right. So we have a motion on the floor, we have a second, we had discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against?
Nay.
Okay, let's do a roll call, starting with you.
Yes.
I'm a yes.
No.
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 Okay, motion fails. We now need another motion. Anyone?
All right. Do we need to go through the whole?
Yes.
Yeah, we do. It's a new motion.
Okay. All right. So let me get my organized here. In case number 21-1935, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exist on the property located at 7909 Citrus Drive. The code section violation is section 6-3. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from Code Enforcement Officer Jose Silva and other witnesses, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. Upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $500, however, I don't know exactly how to say this, but basically that give the people 30 days and 30 days until the next meeting to resolve the differences before the fine would be imposed.
That work for you, Ernie?
The resolving the differences, I would rather, I would ask that the motion say that the violation stop, not resolve the differences.
that they come into
The
compliance.
violation be
Yeah,
abated.
they just say that they come into compliance.
Okay, what did I say? Okay.
You said that they
Resolve their differences.
resolve their
Okay.
differences. This is not divorce, this
Okay.
is not divorce court.
Yeah, I move that the violation be brought into compliance, or we will reconsider at the next meeting imposing a $500 fine. Is that-
No, I'm gonna have to clarify that a little better. What you need to say is that is brought into compliance within 30 days, or the fine of $500 will take effect that evening.
In order to kind of move this along, if I can make a suggestion.
Sure.
And because it's near irreparable, irreversible, if you make the finding, if you make a motion, as I think you have, that there was a violation, you can say that you're going to defer imposing the fine until next month, until your next hearing. And then you'll get a status check at that time as to whether the violation has been abated.
So,
And then that'll
Do I
be
still need to
factored in to what the fine will be.
Okay, I don't need to specify a fine amount tonight.
You don't necessarily have to. You can do that next week. You can just continue the fine aspect, imposing of the fine.
So I move that we defer a decision on this violation until next meeting.
decision on the fine. That you can find her in violation, you're just deferring the decision on the fine.
I move we postpone the decision on the fine until the next meeting, which would be July the 14th. Is that,
We now have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
So let me just try to understand. So we found that the violation exists. We are just deferring the fine to next month.
Yes.
If this continues, we will consider the gravity of the situation and impose a fine.
Yes, and I wanted to ask something. What's the maximum we can?
$5,000.
$5,000.
5,000? And because I feel it's low, as he mentioned, if lack of sleep, if she doesn't sleep for the next month, we're going to be responsible. We're going to put, I will move towards higher.
$5,000.
Well, we can do that next meeting.
Yeah. So that's,
The discussion of the fine has been deferred until the next meeting.
okay.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion?
I gotta say something here. I feel like, this puts burden on the people that are witnesses, I'm afraid, because you're asking them to try and reconcile between themselves. We've said it several times, even though we're talking about a violation, and we're saying, well, you guys gotta work it out. And I just feel like it puts burden on the people that are listening to the barking. And I see that as unfair to them, and so I see us kind of doing this backwards. That's how I'm seeing this.
It's basically, it's not only resolving it, but giving her the chance to I know it's irreversible, and to try harder to stop this, at least, the parking all the time.
We just got to make sure it's in the record that there is a violation, and we all accepted that. And so next month, when we come back, if it continues even 1 or 2 nights, then we're gonna have to make that hard decision to do something to stop it.
Correct.
Correct.
That's why.
But the motion that's made tonight acknowledges that there is a violation. You're just deferring the imposition of a fine until the next meeting.
Yes.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
We have 1 no, motion carries. Next case, please. So, ma'am, what's happened tonight, I know there's been a lot of discussion, is you have been found in violation of the code, okay? You have no time to fix it, really. If we get a status report at our next meeting that the barking has continued, there will be a vote on the amount of the fine to impose upon you. And it can be anywhere from, you heard $500 thrown around tonight, it can be anywhere from $500 to $5,000. Okay? So you've got, you really don't have any time to fix it, but we won't be discussing it again until our next meeting in July. Okay? And hopefully you can do something about it. Thank you. Next case, please. So gentlemen, our next case is going to be,
Can we take a couple?
yes, if you guys need to take a break, let's go ahead and take a break. But when you come back, we're going to be talking 210066.
How long will the recess be for?
5 minutes.
5-minute recess.
Thank you so much.
Yes. The barking dog ones always are. We've only had like 2, like he said, 2.
That's the first one I've ever seen come to this. And it's like, I get it. I totally get it.
We've had vicious dog case once before, which is not much more fun.
Those are, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, these are never fun. It's, like he said, it's neighbor against neighbor.
Well, the vicious one, I teach much more strict, especially on big dogs.
Yeah.
And I've seen claims even more I do. I've seen dog attack claims. And I've seen these.
And it's tiny little, these are 8-pound dogs. Yeah, I can see where the barking would drive you nuts, especially if it's at night. I mean, all dogs barking at night, dog barking. But if it's constant at night, it sounds to me that she doesn't even have a very serious talk with those dogs. It is, it's an easy fix. It's been the stinking dog inside. We'll see. What's that? 1177.
Already listed?
Pay attention tonight. Number 7. Yeah. Easy peasy. Well, you know, what's funny is that there was a time where state police, Tempe police would make easy overtime just standing at Macy's.
Oh, yeah.
And then the police union figured out what a gold mine it was, and they started taking a piece of the action.
Well, I think I told you in my office,
You're gonna need some water.
I guess
Something.
Then I told the guys I'm gonna back
My wife's office is poked out. They have
I told Rod before you got here, I said, these dog barking cases, they're guaranteed it'll be an hour. Guaranteed. I was just up there for the fourth one, and everyone's run at least an hour. It's the same stuff. There's two neighbors complaining.
And he does other stuff.
I know. I mean, I have a lot of sympathy for, because I mean, we got a dog that barks behind our house.
What'd you do for your eye?
You know, you gotta keep, when you're sparring with Ellen, you gotta keep your left up.
Yeah, it's just tough one. It's just tough one.
It was just something. I went to the fitness center and I was on my bike and I was in a hurry, and so I jumped off my bike and I lost my balance and there's like a big rack there.
You guys need any water?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. So I
You hit yourself.
Philadelphia attorney who was held in front of me for about 4 hours. They were talking about it because he lost his case. You know, it's a jurisdiction.
So I was running late and I jumped off my bike and I lost my balance and there's a rack there with has a air pump and stuff.
Especially if it's a case.
Hit right into it. I was like, oh man.
Man.
It just hit. It apparently hit a vein or something. It didn't hit it that hard. It didn't even cut it. Just a little nick.
It looks like it.
But it didn't even. It doesn't even hurt. But it looks a lot worse than it is. The joke is that you got to keep your left up when you're around Ellen Snell. She's got a vicious right cross.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Oh man.
To 1688, and then we go to 1913, and then we go to 0685. We're bouncing around.
Okay, cool.
So do we need to give you some time to get caught up?
I'll get the graphic up by the time.
She's got an extra, I think, an extra copy for you. How many more?
So one of my guitars that was in Blue Museum, they moved it to St. Louis Airport, and so there's a huge display in the airport.
I can give you the name of the, I don't know it personally, I don't know who she is.
Because yeah, like we're trying to get in touch with a friend of mine who's trying and graphic he has a copy anywhere on it.
I can get you the name of the person you talk to, but I don't know her.
Yeah, well, honestly, no, that's good. Because, like, our time is,
Everybody back? We're ready to. Are we ready to go, guys? Yeah, okay. All right, we're back. Our next case is going to be 21-0066.
Case number 21-0066, City versus Willie Mavud Dent for the property located at 314 Springdale Place. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 8.
28A1.
28A1 permits application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, board members. Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This is the work without permit case that was presented to the MCEB during the April 14, 2021 hearing. At the time, there were questions over the required permits, and the case was continued. Since the original hearing, there was a change of ownership. On May 14, 2021, after meeting with city building official Amir Nisi, I ascertained that permits were required for an interior renovation remodel along with electrical permit to include a kitchen and a bathroom. On May 14th, I completed an amended notice of violation with a compliance date of June 9, 2021. I posted the notice at the home as well as City Hall, also mailed copies, both certified, regular mail to the address of the registered owner. As of this time, I would like to submit evidence. The Exhibit 1 is the amended NOV posted at the residence. Exhibit 2 to 3 are the current stop work orders that are still outstanding.
We'll accept those, thank you.
The stop work orders that were printed out today, and they still show open.
Thank you. And you said there was a change of ownership?
Change of ownership, yes, sir.
When did, and that occurred, what, May 14th, I think you said?
The change of ownership, when we ran it again, what the property appraiser was on May 14th, the run that I have.
Okay.
It actually occurred back in December of 2020, it's just the property appraiser didn't update.
It finally got caught up on May, okay.
And just to clarify that the original ownership when it, prior to December, was the LLC that Ms. Dent was an officer of, and she just transferred it into her name.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
thank you. Any questions for the code officer?
So it's
Go ahead.
still out of compliance? There's still no.
Those two permits still showing outstanding. And the city building official, Amir Nisi, is here tonight to discuss that.
Is the work still going on?
No.
Stop.
No, they red tagged it and they've abided by the red tags.
Okay.
Has the paperwork been filed to get the permits?
There's one permit that has been filed with the interior renovation that's been approved, but has not been paid for.
Okay.
The electrical has not been applied for yet. And it's all on the stop work orders that I printed up.
Mr.
So I thought last time, wasn't there some confusion on whether the person was notified properly for, or was aware that she even?
There was question about the required permits.
Right.
So that's why the building official is here tonight to advise you of the required permits.
Great, thanks.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I understand the respondent is here. Would you like to say something? No, come on up. If you're gonna answer, you gotta come up. Have you been sworn in? State your name and address for the record, please.
Willie Dent. My address is 314 Springdale Place, Temple Terrace, 33617.
17.
I guess my position is what he stated is true, but it's a stop work order and I'm not doing any work, so I'm not violating. And that is the truth.
Have you, I guess, what's going on as far as the permits go? Like you said, one's been applied.
One of them I did, and the electrical, I found someone, but again, it comes down to me actually pulling them and paying for them, and it looks like I'm not going to be able to get anything done until probably, I would say, somewhere between the 1st and the 15th of August. But as far as the violation, I am not touching that property. I have not violated a stop work order. I have been in compliance from that perspective. And the issue is time. So if you read the ordinance does not say I have to pull a permit within 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, whatever. So I have been particularly in compliance with not violating a stop work order.
Thank you.
Are you living at the?
No, sir, it's not really in living condition.
Okay, so nobody's living there.
No, sir,
Okay.
not physically.
So what's the reason for the, sorry, I didn't.
No, go ahead.
May I
Go ahead.
speak?
Go ahead.
You said you can't do anything with the property until August, is there?
It's two things going on with that. One is the finances, and two, to get, my brother is gonna help me. And we had to wait until school was out and those kind of things for him to come over and do it with me.
So I have a question for Amir, if you don't. Amir, have you seen the condition of the residence?
Yes, I have. I made an appointment to meet Ms. Dent at the,
Does the current condition of the residence pose any safety or health violations?
not to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
I mean, it's interior work, it's closed up, so nobody live at the residence.
Thank you. Any questions for the code officer or the respondent?
Thought Amir was gonna talk about how many permits she needs, which permits.
Well, he already told us. Come on up and clarify that for us.
Sure. The initial stop work order was, for interior renovation, and then there was kind of confusion as far as what type of a permit we need. After meeting with her and look at the condition of the interior homes and talking to her, she says, well, I'm not touching any of the plumbing, even though the bathroom is gutted, the kitchen is gutted completely. So I made it clear with her, if you touch the bathroom, removing the tub or relocating the tub or any plumbing component, you're required to get a permit. She showed me the shower, another second bathroom, which is with the shower base. And I told her, the minute you touch it, you're subject to the plumbing permit because you need waterproof, the shower base. She says, well, how about I put the tile back? I said, no problem. If that's the direction you want to go, you want to just put the tile back, I have no problem. You don't have to get the plumbing permit and mechanical permit for exhaust fan. So that's why we modify the requirement beside the renovation permit to the electrical. We drop the plumbing and the mechanical. However, if again she changed her mind and moved to the different direction, she has to come back again, get the plumbing and the mechanical.
So right now, the only ones that are required is the interior, which he has applied for, he just hasn't paid for.
Yes.
The electrical, which he hasn't applied for yet.
Right, and then the one she applied and is ready to be picked up, we processed it back in December 21st. So it's been sitting for the last few months, has not been paid.
Right. And I know there's a requirement to finish once you pick up the permit, but is there any requirements that she pick up the permit within any sort of time frame?
It is not, if she doesn't pick up within 180 days, will become null and void. So, and again, you cannot hold the permit indefinitely in queue and not pay for it.
Okay.
And what she mentioned again, she's saying that I complied with the stop work order. Fully understand. However, the case originated, she did not have a permit to gut the house. She did not have a permit to initiate the work. Okay? She's non-compliance on that part. Section 828 require permit for alteration, renovation, addition. She has not complied with that section of the code. Of course, we issue notes of a stop work order to her. We told her, stop. You need to get a permit. She hasn't done anything after that.
She has to get the permit.
Thank you. She hasn't done that. And she keeps saying that, oh, I haven't done anything. You tell me to stop, I stop. Understood. But you initiate the work without a permit. Okay? So you need to address that. You cannot sit in the queue, say, I'm not doing anything, I'm not in violation.
No, you are in violation.
Thank you.
Continue to be in violation until you
Yes.
pick up both permits are picked up and paid for.
Thank you.
I have a question for.
Yes.
I just missed it. It was changed owners, so that the lady.
She had
here-
it under LLC, under corporation. Apparently, she changed it to her personal name.
Oh, okay, but it's
Yes.
the same person.
Same person,
Okay.
based on the record we found.
Okay.
Yes.
And just so you all understand, it continues to be in violation because she hasn't picked up or paid for the permits. So,
I have a question.
yes, sir.
So, say she gets the permits, pays for them, but then continues to not do any work, they'll just become null and void then at 100
After
days,
180 days.
but there wouldn't be any more violation.
Well, again,
Or does she have to keep, once the permits are received, then you have to keep working?
thank you. Once you have the permit, you have to finish that permit. You cannot just obtain a permit and walk away from it.
So that's a kind of a catch-22.
Yes. You have a permit, you gotta finish your work, you gotta follow the inspection process, you gotta close your permit. You cannot say, I have a permit, I'm in compliance, I'm gonna walk away from it, I'm not doing anything.
You can for 180 days.
Yeah, after 180 days, the permit become null and void, it still comes back to square one, you are in violation with not having a permit.
So she'd have to resubmit a new permit.
Right.
We have to look at it, if it's an identical application, we are not gonna go through the same information, we can reciprocate the information, it all depends. Extended the permit, another 180 days for $45, you have to look at case by case, yes.
Of course.
Go ahead.
The stop work order comes with a fine, right?
Yes, $350, yes.
So you need, we can't force her to do work, obviously, if she
Sure.
wants to stop for whatever she can. So that fine, in my mind, clears off the fact that she was doing work without it. And then if she were to do work without permits, she would be in violation. But for now, she's not doing work. I believe that she's not in any violation of not having a permit, because she doesn't require one.
No, she does because
She initiate the work without a permit, she start altering inside the home without a permit, that's violation.
That's the $350 that she's paying.
No,
That
no, no.
covers
No.
that.
A stop work order, 350 is for the stop work order. But from the beginning, she didn't have a permit, okay, for altering in interior of the work, interior of the house. She didn't obtain the permit.
she continues to be in violation of the statute because she does not have a permit.
Right. Section 828 of Code of Ordinance says, anytime you want to do renovation, alteration, first you have to file an application, obtain a permit. If you don't do that, that's violation 101 right there. So,
So the $350 does not exempt her from getting any permits. It only is like an additional.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
And in the past, that's how we handled the
absolutely.
use of the $350 stop work order.
Right, anytime you issue a stop work order, you could apply $350 fine for that order, yes.
I have a question for the
Go ahead.
for the respondent, actually.
Yes, sir.
So as you understand that you need two permits, right?
I understand that, and I also understand, if I'm correct, they've already applied a fine because the way it was explained to me,
Sure.
when I called for the price on, the one that I applied for, it's like double what it normally would be. So a fine has already been applied to that, and I haven't done the electrical yet.
But that's one. You understand you need two? Or
Yes, that's what I said. I've already made application
For two?
for one.
For one.
Not realizing I needed a second one until I met with Mr. Amir.
Which was when?
So when I met with Mr. Amir, there was in place, the stop work order was in place. I called, they said, you must get a homeowner's permit to do, renovation, anything over $1,000. So I immediately did application for that.
For that one permit?
For that one permit, and I immediately made an appointment to meet with him, and that's when he went over, if you want to do this, if you want to do this, if you want to do that. And that's how, the one thing I must do is the electrical,
Okay.
in addition.
So
That
what's
is not a
preventing you from
bypass.
getting the second permit?
Sorry?
What's preventing you from getting the second permit?
Well, it just kind of just went there. My interpretation was I wasn't violating as long as I didn't, go back into the property and do that. And then I had to work out the time to be able to get the work done, because I also know I have a limitation on that permit. In term, they give you, what, 3 months, I think it is?
6 months.
6 months. So I was trying to wage my time with my brother, you know, to get it done. And that's how we knew we had to wait till school was done for his oldest son to help him and me. So that's how we got to where we were. Then I got called in on this. Last month I had a family emergency and had to go out of town, and you extended it to this month.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
Okay. Take this one. In case number 21-0066, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exist on the property located at 314 Springdale Place, Code Section 8-28, subsection A, subsection 1. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from Code Enforcement Officer Jose Silva and other witnesses, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violations be corrected on or before July 14th. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continues past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Not you. You. No, you, not, they, your time is done. Thank you. Any further discussion by the board? You look like you want to say something.
I do.
Go ahead.
I just, I'm not sold that, we should, this puts her in the position where she has to do the work, and that's, that makes me a little uncomfortable. I think the $350 fine satisfies the fact that she was doing work without permits, but I don't think that the board should, you know, effectively tell her that she has to do work.
Okay.
And if I'm the only one on that, it seems like the precedent is, you know, speaking to, sorry, gentlemen, that this is how, that the $350 fine isn't any kind of remediation for, I guess what's the essence of the $350 fine? What's it solving?
It's for the imposition of the stop work order is my understanding, but I wanted to correct it. We're not forcing her to do any work. She just needs to get the permits.
Right.
Okay. Well, true. I mean, that's true. But the violation is for work that was done without a permit. And what we're asking her to do to bring it into compliance is to get the permits. Okay. Now, she has to, at some point, finish the work one way or another, but that's not what this violation is.
You got to put it back the way it was, or rent, or modernize, or whatever she's going to do. But you got to get the permit either way.
The way I guess I look at it is that she's in violation of working without a permit. She's now not working without a permit because she's not working, so she's not in violation. And if nobody else is going that way, then, you know, it's going to be 5-1 and it's fine.
From
But
what I understand.
it just makes me a little uncomfortable in that we're forcing
What
her
I
into that.
understand is just,
I get your point.
she has a permit, she needs to pay for it, and that should be sufficient, because
Well, no, but then his concern is, you know, the permit only lasts a certain period of
6
time.
months.
6 months, and she can extend it another 6 months, that's a year, so she's got, and, you know, her brother will help her, I guess.
Clarification, and Mr. Anisi can certainly clarify this, but it's my understanding that even, you were talking about the $350 fine, that has not been paid either.
Right.
Because it hasn't been separated out.
You've had your chance, ma'am.
She has not paid a penny yet, not for a stop work order, not for the permit has been issued. As I said, she hasn't paid anything.
Yeah, and then that's her, she doesn't have to. We have tons of people that don't have to pay if they get fined. But the second she starts doing work again, she's
No,
in
the
violation
argument
of
is you said that
everything again.
We charge her $350 for a stop work order. What I'm saying, she has not paid that yet.
Yeah,
Even
sure.
if she gets the permit, she still
1
has
minute,
to
ma'am.
pay
We'll
for
give
the
you-
Right. We issued a
Yep.
permit back in December. It sits in my office collecting dust. She hasn't not paid
And
for
his-
a permit yet.
I totally understand that.
And your point is, we have people that don't cut their grass and don't pay the fine, and just-
Right.
Yeah, we have liens against houses for
Our position is
$200,000.
You need to get a permit to make sure you're in compliance. You don't want to do the work, no problem. Get the permit, sit on it for 3 years. That's your option.
Yeah, it sounds
But
like
if
I'm the
you're
only
not
one
even
that's
getting a
thinking this
permit,
way, so we can,
Right.
we can have a vote. I just wanted to,
May I speak to that? That's a different point.
Come on up, state your name and address for the record, please.
Willie Dent, 314 Springdale Place, Temple Terrace, 33617. I have not gotten anything regarding just a fine. That is a misinterpretation to the board, and it should be presented as evidence. I got a stop work order hung on my door, which is exactly what Mr. Silva told you. I have never gotten something that says, come and pay a fine, because I would have paid that fine. So that is a misrepresentation, and he should be made to show that to you, not just his word. I don't think he's trying to misrepresent anything, but there is nothing, and there should be enough papers around here somewhere to show you that I got a fine of $350 that I did not pay.
All right, thank you. Did you want to address that, Mr. Silva?
Sir, one of the pictures that I passed you with the stop work order has the fine listed as $350 on there, and electrical's $350.
When was that?
When they were hung on your
He said
door?
back in December or whatever.
When would the stop work, when were they posted on her door?
The stop work order, I don't know when was posted on her door, because we get a list every 2 weeks of open stop
But
work
that
orders.
stop work order did list a $350 fine.
I don't know.
On December 9th.
December 9th, okay.
Where is it?
So, okay, all right, let's just stop all this, okay? The city's position is that you were informed of it. If you missed it, I'm sorry, but you now know about it, so it's really a moot point. Thank you, Mr. Silva. Okay, so, so,
May I?
no, we're done. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion by the board?
So what I understand, there's,
Prior to, I do want her to be able to see the stop work order.
Okay, it's gonna be
So we're just gonna chase, oh, do we have it?
being passed around.
I think so. This is what was turned in, so hopefully it's on there.
she had to change the order around.
Oh, this is another new order? New order for tonight?
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Dave,
Yes, sir.
if she pays for her permits and picks them up, that's done. That's
Done, yeah, that's, yeah,
that-
right.
Fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that $25 per day. If she does not, that's.
Yep.
So it's not.
Yeah, that's correct.
Permits and set up.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, so we have a motion, we had discussion.
That's why I'd second.
We're gonna call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay, one nay, motion carries. So ma'am, you have until our next hearing, which is July what?
14th.
July 14th, to get your permits together and pay for the permits and pay for your red tags and all that stuff. If that doesn't happen, then a fine of $25 per day will begin to accrue. Okay? Next case, please. It looks like it's 21-1177.
It's 21-0786.
Oh. Wait a minute, didn't we just?
0786.
Okay, I'm one ahead of you, sorry. Was there 210786?
Case number 21-0786, City versus James L. Evans and Joyce A.G. Evans for the property located at 11305 East Queensway Drive. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 8-10213B, exterior walls maintained in good repair, Section 8-10213C, roofs maintained in good repair, Section 12-859, RVs, boats, and trailers, non-commercial, and Section 8-10213A, foundation structure maintained in good repair. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated from a citizen complaint on February 15th, 2021. My inspection revealed the south side brick wall damaged, roof shingles and sheathing damaged, brick chimney leaning due to structural damage, and a utility trailer stored on the driveway of the residence. At that time, I left 2 door hangers with a reinspection date of March 16th, 2021. Director Baroni received an additional complaint on April the 13th, 2021, and went straight to a notice of violation with a compliance date of April the 28th, 2021. No one was at home, so Director Baroni posted the notice at the front door and requested copies be sent certified in first-class mail to the owner of record. Director Baroni also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. My inspection on May the 14th, 2021 revealed no change. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence that was taken by me and Director Baroni on the 18th of May 2021 showing the violations. Exhibit number 1 shows the notice letter posted at the front door. Exhibit number 2 shows south side exterior brick wall damaged. Exhibit 3 shows the roof shingles and the sheathing damaged. Exhibit 4 shows the trailer stored on the driveway at the residence. Exhibit 5 shows the south side brick chimney leaning.
We'll accept those, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, as of today's date, the trailer has been removed, and at this time, I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance. However, the other violations are out of compliance, and I would be seeking a ruling on those.
So 128593 is in compliance, and that's the only one, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
May I submit?
We'll accept that, sure. Any questions for the code officer? Go ahead, Bill.
Any safety concerns with the chimney as far as?
I believe that would be a better pose for the building official, but the respondent is here as well in the courtroom this evening and would like to address the board.
Okay. Any other questions for the code officer? You said the respondent is here?
Yes, sir.
You would like to come up and address the board? Please state your name and address for the record before you begin.
Jim Evans, my address is 11305 East Queensway Drive, Temple Terrace, resident for 60 years. I've been having some major health issues during the time the damage was done from a storm. I have a cracked beam that supports the outside edge of the chimney. I've been undergoing cancer treatment, and I just have been physically unable to do much. I did get everything done that I could do physically myself. I've had 8 surgeries in the last 3 months. Had my last surgery about 2 weeks ago. I've physically gotten well enough to get up on the roof and start working on supporting the chimney. The actual wood frame chimney is unaffected. It's the cosmetic brick. It's a facade, brick facade on the outside of the actual chimney. And I really think that I'll be able to get it braced off. Fortunately, all my health issues hopefully are positive response at this point. So I'm getting stronger and better, or healthier, I should say, to get up and do the work. The trailer is stored year-round in my backyard, and I was really surprised by that because I literally had pulled the trailer around to put debris in from working on the chimney. And then like 3 days later, I get a citation that my trailer's in violation for being in my driveway where I'm using it to do the repairs that were asked to be done on the previous request. So I put the trailer out there, I'll work on the chimney. And then I hook the trailer up, drag it back around, put it in my backyard, and then 2 days later, drag it back around, put more debris in it. I'm trying to comply in every way that I can. There was also, I don't know why it wasn't mentioned, but there was other issues. There was, said there was blowing debris on the side of the house, which I cleaned up all my side yard. There was a question about a dead tree I took down. I'm trying to do everything I possibly can. And it's just really a question of financial and health. But at least the health has gotten to the point where I think I worked on it yesterday. Unfortunately, I only lasted about an hour before I had to go back inside. And I got a couple more hours in today. It was a little bit better weather. But I think I'll have the chimney at least stabilized to my satisfaction. I'm a retired contractor, built homes for 30 years. Unfortunately, at this point, it's rather surprising that I don't think I have a single past sub that I've contacted is either alive or still in business. So I'm not finding much of anybody. I did contact the building department, and I'm waiting to hear back from Cheryl in just advice, and if there's contractors that they're used to seeing in the area that might do this kind of work if it gets more than I can do. But right now I'm focused on getting the chimney supported and realigned, because if I can't do that, then it's going to be a real nightmare on Elm Street to try to tear that whole brick chimney off and rebuild it. So my prayer is that I get it supported and pushed back up against the house, which I have invested in. Lori has come by more than once, and we've talked about it, and she can attest to the fact that I've bought materials, I've bought jacks, I've bought different things to use in doing it, and it's just a question of my physical ability to do it, because I can't really afford it right now because the medical bills are just ridiculous. But I am doing what I can do, what I can do physically, and what I can do financially to the best of my ability. So that's about it.
Questions for the respondent?
I'm trying to do what I can.
Do you happen to know if any of the repair work you're doing requires a permit?
That's one of the questions I posed to the building inspector today. I called and asked, because in listening to this tonight, I'm thinking, this is probably a good idea. I took my time. I could be owing another $350 if I had jumped right on it. So I do have a call into the building department and ask them to come by and talk to me and show them what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and see if there's anything there that they want to ask me to do or do differently. So yes, I have addressed that, and I haven't gotten an answer yet, but I called today again, and I just didn't hear back, so I'm sure I'll get a call tomorrow.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Do you happen to have an idea of the time frame when you can get?
Well, my goal is to at least get it substantially shored up by the weekend. It's only 2 days, but I figure by Sunday, and if I keep hitting it for a couple hours a day, I can get the, basically building a scaffolding. I built rafters up the roof. I got a 712 pitch roof, and so it's really tough to stay on that roof. It's scary.
What about the shingles and the?
I think that's all related to the same thing. It's the shingles around the chimney that are torn up. Yeah, it's all combined, because what it is the outside edge, the beam broke and the chimney leaned over, and it's ripping the shingles down beside it and in front of it where it's collapsed in. And that'll have to be fixed along with the chimney, but you can't fix the shingles until you fix the chimney.
I wanted to ask you,
Yes.
if that requires a permit, then you have to hire a contractor or licensed contractor.
Either that or pull a permit myself. I'm a retired contractor, but my license is not active at this point. It's been inactive for 10 years.
And again, you're looking for,
Yeah, I mean, it's the thought of hiring a contractor if I am unable to do the work myself. I'm hoping I can do it with people that I know that I can hire to come help me. And it's not that involved if what I try to do works. Like I said, if I can't get it back straight and I gotta tear it off, then I'll have to find somebody to come in literally with a crane and lift it off.
I'm just also curious, those bricks, does water go behind them, or is it gonna affect the?
They're over the garage, so any water that gets in there winds up in the garage.
Oh, okay.
It's on the front corner of the garage. You can see from the picture.
Sorry, one more question. So
Yes, sir.
once you get the chimney shored up, assuming that happens, would you then be able to do the other repairs that are?
Yeah, it'd be all combined into one. It's just I can't there's no way to really repair the shingles until the chimney's
Right,
pushed back up.
I get that.
Because it's caved the shingles in about 4 inches.
And once it's shored up, that would put it into compliance, I assume?
Well, it would get it to the point that I can affect the rest of the repairs. And plus I can repair the beam underneath it that's causing a problem to start with.
Okay. Yeah, the reason I'm just asking if everything went well, would you have everything done in a month? Would you be able to?
Yeah, I would think, that's my goal, at least, is be done within a month. I mean, I'm shooting just to get it all stabilized where I can start working on other parts
Gotcha.
by the weekend, or by the end of the weekend, at least I can get the thing pushed back into place.
Okay.
And it's just, I've tried to do it before, and I'd get out there and get up on the roof, and about 5 minutes later, I was back on the ground, either exhausted or just didn't feel good.
Maybe I'll see what my son's doing this weekend.
Yeah, good idea.
He's a big kid.
And also if there's any grants available for home repair, I mean,
Any other questions?
No, one of the things we take into consideration is actions taken by the violator to correct the violation. It sounds like you've done that, certainly, and that you plan on doing it by next month. It is a lot of work to get done in a month, though, by the 14th,
if
your
I have
health
to come back
challenges and
say,
stuff.
hey, I got it to here, and I'll bring the pictures, and I'll
Yeah.
keep in touch with Lori in the building department.
We take that into consideration, so like, you're not, come back and let us know if you're having problems, if you're close, if, I saw Lori shake her head when someone asked if you had been making progress, and she said yes, so.
Yeah. I even have called her and come over, it's like, hey, is there something I forgot about, or I can do that I can take care of while I'm not waiting for the boards for this or something?
Yeah, like, don't fall off the roof.
Yeah,
Take
that
your
was
time.
her advice too, is like, Mr. Evans, do not fall off the
Yeah.
roof. I don't need you back in the hospital again.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
Are there any safety concerns for anyone other than yourself?
no. I mean, anybody can get up on a roof and fall off it, yes, I mean, that would be a safety concern,
I think you
but
meant
yeah.
like the collapsing of the.
bricks not-
Yeah, no,
If you live with anyone lives underneath.
That's my whole thing. There's nobody living under it. It's over the garage. If you want to pull that picture back up, I can point out, but you can see it pretty clearly. It's a two-story house, and this is the chimney going up the outside edge of the house, and it sits on top of the garage roof. That's why it's kind of a problem to get to, because there's like a double layer. You got the garage ceiling, and then you got the joist going up, and you got to get in that gap in between to try to support from underneath. So I'm basically just going to go from the inside the garage all the way up through, but I want to get it stabilized first before I start trying to jack it back up to get it level.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
You want me to try?
If you like.
Yes, I would like to attempt this. In case number 210786, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence of the following several violations of the city of Temple Terrace code exist on the property located at 11305 East Queensway Drive, Temple Terrace, Florida. The applicable codes 8-102, subsection 13, subsection B, 8-102, subsection 13C, south side structure, and 8-102, 13, subsection A, foundation and structure. Those the three codes that in violation. Along this motion is based on the sworn testimony that this board has received from the code enforcement officer and other witnesses, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and the notice of violations of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violations be corrected on or before July 14th.
Shouldn't be
Yeah.
doing the complied and existing violations script. That's because there's one complied violation.
One violation in compliance, so it's the one that says complied and existing violations.
What is it?
Next page,
Yeah.
says complied and.
Yes, comply, yes.
I was going to wait till he was done.
Sorry. Well, I just thought,
Okay, I'm
it's late.
I'm glad.
That's good.
I didn't want to interrupt.
I further move that there.
No, you got to start over, my friend.
Okay.
he can't just pick up, it's all verbatim the same, except for I further move that there be no fine imposed.
I further move there will be no fine imposed for the violation of code section. It's corrected 12-859 subsection 3 because the violation were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing. I further move that the remaining violations be corrected on or before July 14th, 2021. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that date, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continues past the date set for the compliance. Upon considering the following factors, the gravity of violations, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violations, and previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any
And for
further?
clarity, is that per violation or is that total?
It's total.
Okay.
It's one issue.
Yep.
$25 total per day. Yeah, we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Next case, which will be 21-1177.
Case number 21-1177, City versus Nicholas Drew Teeling. For the property located at 716 Druid Hills Road, the case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 8-28A1, permit application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Director Tom Baroni. The city has evidence that the notice of violation, notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Tom Baroni, Code Compliance Director. This case this evening originated by building official Amir Anisi when he issued a stop work order when he observed interior renovations work being done inside a kitchen on February 22nd, 2021. Code officer staff received a list of delinquent properties on March 9th, 2021 for construction work that requires a building permit. That same day, I prepared a notice of violation with a compliance date of March 29th, 2021. I posted the notice letter at the front door, and I also requested a copy be sent out certified in first-class mail. I also requested a copy to be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. Code staff did receive the green certified mail receipt card signed by the property owner to obtain service. On March 17, 2021, I did speak with the homeowner, and I requested that he contact Community Development to resolve the outstanding stop work order. Since I have not heard back from the homeowner since May 24, 2021, and permitting office emailed me that the owner did change the homestead exemption, but still did not obtain a permit. I checked with permitting clerks this morning, noted that the permit still remained out of compliance. Building official Mira Nisi is here tonight to answer any questions.
Any questions for the code officer or for Mr. Nisi? Go ahead. Mr. Nisi, you're up.
Yes, sir. So 716 Druid Hills.
And just state your name for the record, please.
Sure, I'm Nisi, building official, City of Temple Terrace.
How did this property come into your attention, please?
Well, I was performing inspections. I happened to, again, see construction debris and the dumpster on the side yard of the property, fully, packed. So I stopped and I look at it. I see construction material, construction debris. So I posted a stop work order, and I don't remember exactly, a week or 2 weeks later, homeowner called me and I had a lengthy discussion with the homeowner, explained to homeowner what's required, what's not required, and the way, again, we ended the conversation, he understood he needs to obtain a permit, and he has a stop work order. So as of today, he's not complied, not submitted an application. So.
How many permits are we talking about?
I have not been able to enter to the house and look at the scope of the work, but I'm assuming it's interior reno. We're talking about building, electrical, could be plumbing, could be mechanical.
Could be 2, could be 4.
I'm not sure without going into the house physically see it, but based on the debris, I saw sinks, plumbing fixtures has been removed, cabinet has been removed. So, and based on the conversation over the phone, apparently it's a kitchen renovation, you know.
All the above.
All the above, and again, is sometimes difficult to completely understand the scope of the work. So.
Go ahead, Ben.
They're complying with the stop work order, they're complying with that?
Yes, yes, I have not seen any construction activity since then. Somebody's there or working, so, yes.
I wanted to ask you, how could we determine, it's very tough for me if somebody is inside their house and, you know, like they have, for example, a ceramic sink and something heavy fell on it and broke. He can't wait, what is it, well, how long does it take? A month to replace it so he can wash his face or something? I don't know, I'm just asking that as a curiosity.
I'm not sure if I understand your question.
Somebody is removing their cabinets, why do we require a permit for that?
Well, again, once you're removing a cabinet, okay, it's not just the cabinet itself, okay? National Electric Code require all the electrical circuit, all the counter spaces, needs to be up to date, okay? The home is from 1950s. Today's electrical requirement is completely different.
It's so we can update those.
You have to. That's a good timing. That's a good timing. I mean, we don't go in existing home and force people to bring home into the compliance if they're 50, 60 years old. But the minute.
So everybody can.
Right, but.
That they don't do something and, you know,
Right.
then bypass something that caused fire later on.
Existing home falls under Florida existing building code. They're grandfathered in. You don't have to do anything. You live in it as long as you want. But the minute you go in and start do alteration, renovation, addition, then you're subject to the code compliance, okay? You move in a cabinet, you're renovating your kitchen. This is the time you need to bring your electrical up to date. You're buying a wrench today. It doesn't work with the old plugs. Old plug, they had 3 prong. Today's prong is 4. We cannot force 4 prong into the 3, prong receptacles. You have to update your electrical circuit for the range.
People from doing that, what do you think in your opinion? Why, it's just a fee for the permit?
Probably cost, I would say, and they don't want to hire a professional to do the work. They want to do handiwork, unprofessional work, unpermitted work. So, in that nature.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Is the respondent here?
Yes, sir.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Nick Teeling, 716 Druid Hills Road. So I think I understand what permits required. I just need a little more time to. So I've sought a couple of bids from architects. Mainly, I started a demo, try to, the existing house had some cabinets we didn't want, had some roach debris inside of it. So I wanted to get that out of the house. And I wasn't aware I needed a permit for that. But and I also wanted to expose some of the structure to get an understanding of what was load bearing. It's a 2-story house. So we haven't made any structural modifications or anything like that. And so now I'm still in the process. I've got an architect on board. I've got some drawings. Hopefully we'll be able to submit for permitting. I tried to satisfy the stop work order. I haven't, like the lady previously, I've stopped work, haven't done any demo. So I tried to get like a demo permit just to kind of satisfy the stop work order, and I guess that's not available to residential properties. So anyways, if I can have maybe another month or so, I should be able to submit for permitting with the full set of drawings and everything.
Any questions?
You said you did stop when you got the stop work order totally?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
And there's no permit for demo work? That's the.
I guess not, no,
We don't offer a residential demo
Okay.
permit.
Just curious.
Which permits do you need?
So there'll probably be some I need a licensed electrician, which I have on board. I do have a question. I had asked Cheryl to come out, the building inspector to come out and meet me last week, and our timing was off. So I assume I'll need a plumbing permit because of the sinks that are associated with the cabinets and whatnot. So I'll have all that.
Yeah, once you submit the drawings, you'll find out what you.
Yeah, I'll have a full understanding of the scope. Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, one more.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, in case number 21-1177, I move the city has proven by a greater weight of evidence the following violations of the city of Temple Terrace code exist on the property located at 716 Druid Hills Road. Code section 828, subsection A, subsection 1. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer and other witnesses, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which have been received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violations be corrected on or before July 14th, 2021. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day of the violations. The date set for compliance upon considering the following factors: the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator. I move that the fine be $25 per day, and that's total, not per violation.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion?
It's the exact same situation as Ms. Dent, so just to keep that in mind, he's complied with no work and, he's complied with the stop work order.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
One nay. Motion carries. Next case, please. And that will be 21-1913. I'm sorry. Yeah, 21-1913. That's correct.
Case number 21-1913, City versus JJB RE LLC for the property located at 420 Mission Hills Drive. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 8-28A1, permits application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on May 11th, 2021 for the installation of over 100 square feet of roofing material without a roofing permit. As I had observed contractors working on the roof, I stopped to see if they had a permit, inquired as to how many square feet they were repairing, and the contractor stated 430 square feet. I checked with the building inspector, informed me that anything over 100 square feet required a permit. I went directly to a notice of violation on that date with a compliance date of May 24th, 2021. I posted the notice on the site, and a notice was also posted at City Hall. Copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the owner of record. My reinspection on May 25th, 2021 showed no change, so a notice of hearing was prepared on that date, and the case was scheduled for the June Municipal Code Board meeting. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence of the site taken by myself on May 12th, 2021, showing the posting of the notice of violation.
We'll accept those. Thank you.
I have heard from the property owner, and their plan was to submit for a roofing permit, I believe, this week or early next week. But as of today, the site is not in compliance, and I'm seeking a ruling.
Thank you. Any questions for the code officer? Looks like there's none. Thank you. Is the respondent here? State your name and address, please.
John Bowman, 1310 East Park Circle, Tampa. This is a property, should I just go into the explanation?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, this property we purchased as a flip property. Bought at the end of last year. We've applied for and received and completed the work for plumbing, electrical, and maybe some other things, I don't know, but it was a total renovation. I say we, the contractor is experienced in Tampa and Hillsborough County, not Temple Terrace. And they understood that if the repair of a roof was under 500 square feet, not 100 square feet, that it could be done without that they could do the work. Okay, right. So we learned that that was not the case in Temple Terrace. We've contacted a roofing contractor. They were not registered with the city of Temple Terrace. We thought they were trying to do that, but it turns out they weren't, so we've lost some time. And when they said they called the city 19 times and didn't get a return phone call, we realized they were full of it. So we stopped our effort with them. We've got another roofer. They're scheduled to go out on Friday. The work was not extensive. It was a repair. The roofer, it needs to go look at the roof and decide what the situation is and give us their proposal. Either it was done properly, because the work was done. It wasn't extensive and it was completed. It doesn't leak, and it's not an old roof. It's like a 10-year-old roof. We just need the time and this roofer, they say they are registered with the city, so that shouldn't have to go through that. We're gonna look at it Friday. We just need some time to apply for the permit, get the permit, have the roofer do what they need to do, and get it done. The house is done. Spent a lot of money on that house.
Thank you. Any questions for the respondent?
There was no stop work order in this case, right?
Correct.
Okay, because you completed it before the work's completed.
Well, I think. I wasn't there. I
kind of missed what you said in the beginning was the only reason I'm asking you.
There was other work and other permits which he applied for, got, and completed the work. The only thing that's outstanding is the roof, and the roof repair has been completed, but because of the misunderstanding, they didn't get a permit. The permit will allow our people to inspect it to ensure that it was done properly.
Correct.
Great. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
Try that.
Sure.
I guess this is, very quick here. In case number 21-1913, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violations of having no permit for work on the roof. The City of Temple Terrace Code exists on the property located at 1310 Park Circle, Temple Terrace, Tampa, Florida 33604.
That's not right.
That's not right.
That's
The residence, yeah.
Site of violation is 420
Yes.
Mission Hills.
Yes. 420 Mission Hills Avenue, Temple Terrace. This applicable codes are 8-28 subsection A, subsection 1. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with all other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and notice of violation, all which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that the said violation be corrected on or before July 14th, 2021. If the respondents does not comply with this order on or before the day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continue past the date set for the compliance. Upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violation and any action taken by the violator to correct the violation, any previous violation committed by the violator, I move the fine be $25 per day.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. So, next case, which is going to be 21-1688. Yeah, it should be. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Case number 21-1688, City versus Resi SFR Sub LLC for the property located at 605 West River Drive. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 12-921, parking residential property. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening, board members. Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated proactively on April 6, 2021, during my inspection of noted vehicle parked in the front yard grass of the residence. This time I completed a notice of violation with a compliance date of April 8th. I posted a notice at the front door of the residence as well as City Hall, submitted copies both certified and regular mail to the address of the registered owner and agent. During an inspection on April 19th, I found no vehicles parked in the yard grass at this time. I closed the case, bringing it into compliance. On May 1st, I observed vehicle parked in the yard grass of the residence. Since it was within 45 days and the violation reoccurred, it was set for the MCEB. This time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the posting of the notice at the front door, the vehicle parked on the yard grass. Also, at this time, the property has come into compliance. I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance with it.
We'll accept that. Thank you.
This time, I'm just asking for a finding.
Thank you. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make it.
Thank you.
In case number 21-1688, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code that exist on the property located at 605 West River Drive. Violation is Section 12-921. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, photos, affidavits, and notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of the hearing.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. So are we going back
We're going to go to 685.
685? There is. 685, let me find it. Okay.
Case number 21-065, City versus Nahad Darwish for the property located at 6319 East 113th Avenue. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 8-102-13B, exterior walls maintained in good repair. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively February the 9th, 2021. My inspection revealed the front exterior wall damaged. At that time, I left a door hanger with the compliance date of the 24th of February, 2021. My inspection on March the 10th, 2021 revealed no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared with the compliance date of the 25th of March, 2021. No one was at home, so I posted the notice at the front door and requested copies be sent certified in first-class mail to the owner of record. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. My inspection on May the 14th, 2021 revealed no change. At this time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence that was taken by me on the 18th of May, 2021 showing the violation. Exhibit number 1 shows the notice letter being posted at the front door. Exhibit 2 shows the front exterior wall damaged.
We'll accept those, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, I had dialogue with the owner at the probably the end of March, who had said getting the materials had been delayed due to COVID, sir. They are in attendance this evening. I would like to address the board.
Okay. Before that, do we have any questions for the code officer? Thank you. Thank you, Lori.
I thought, did you say it was in compliance or no?
It's not in
yeah, yeah.
compliance. The owners, they were having problems getting the building material to be able to fix it. They are here tonight to be able to address the board. You're welcome.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Salim Khan, 6319 East 113 Ave. All right, so right when we got the violation, we hired a contractor and we paid him to get the material to fix that. So he said he didn't want to replace it with the same wood, so he suggested we change to like a stone material. So we said, go ahead, we paid him, he ordered it, it was the wrong color, and he didn't get the corners in. So obviously he was frustrated because he was out of pocket, so he gave us the direct company to deal with. So then I went in person and I reordered it, and they actually still have their old material in our backyard. They didn't pick it up yet, but we got there, I think, April 13th on the invoice. We went and paid them directly to get the right color that we wanted, and they just kept getting delayed. No driver to bring the material from Atlanta, no driver to. So it just came in on Memorial Weekend, and obviously there was no one there working to pick it up. So I just went and got this today from them so I can bring it to the hearing. So they're gonna deliver it sometimes the beginning of this week, and then they said the contractor could come and install it. So
by next month it should be.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things, you know. So I'm just asking for an extension because I do this for a living, so I know how it is. And
That's true.
I mean,
There's no drivers, no workers.
Hang on.
yeah. So even getting it delivered, they got it Memorial Weekend. They haven't been able to bring it, so I'm just gonna go get it with my truck and bring it to the house because I'll never get this done.
Yes.
Very good. Any questions for the respondent?
I'm sorry, you said next month is good enough, you think it'll be done?
Yeah. They said by next week they should have it installed. Like I said, I'm gonna go get the material myself. So the guy's available to do the work. He just don't have the material.
Okay.
If you run into issues though, by next month, let us know though.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll come back out.
Any other questions for the respondent? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
In case number 21-0685, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the city Temple Terrace City Code existed at the property located at 6319 East 113 Avenue. Code violation is 8-102 subsection 13 subsection B. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer along with other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. Further move that said violations be corrected on or before July 14th. Is that correct? 14th or 17th?
14th is right.
14th, thank you.
Correct.
If the respondent does not comply with the order on or before this day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violations continue past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors of the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move the fine be $25 per day.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. So you have until next month. If it's not done, there should be a $25 fine that's imposed per day, but come back and let us know, and we'll see what we can work out, okay?
Thank you.
Next case, where are we going?
We're gonna go to one of the lien reductions.
Okay. All right. Feel like we're playing hopscotch tonight. Lien reduction. Which one?
Oh,
4917.
49, okay.
this is for 108 Oak Ridge Avenue.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Code Board members. Tom Baroni, Code Compliance Director. At this time, I'd like to introduce this lien reduction petition request in case number 20-4917, City versus Brigida Mafa Zaman, property located at 108 Oak Ridge Avenue with a lien amount of $2,950. This case originated on October 12, 2020 by Community Development for several building permits that were not obtained. This case was presented at the December 9, 2020 Code Board hearing. The respondent was found guilty with a $25 per day fine, which would start on January 14, 2021. The property was brought into compliance on April 7, 2021, which the violation was out of compliance for 84 days. With 13 inspections by code staff, which totals $485, and the clerk's cost of $130, totaling $615. Based on the petitioner's application and the violation being out of compliance for 84 days, my recommendation to the board this evening is to reduce the lien amount from $2,950 to the city cost of $615.
Thank you. Any
Petition
questions?
is here tonight?
Excuse me?
Petitioner is
They are here? Okay.
Yes.
Before we get to that, do we have any questions for the code officer?
Did I read there was a stop work order involved with this?
I'm not aware of if there was or not.
Just. Yeah, and was it paid?
I'm
Is
not,
it-
I'm
is
not,
it paid?
not aware of that. It's paid, sir?
Okay, all right, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions for the code officer? Thank you, Tom. Does the respondent wish to, the respondent's here, but does he wish to say anything? Okay, come on up. Be sure to state your name and address for the record, please.
Marfi Bizita Zaman, 108 Oak Ridge Avenue, Temple Terrace, 33617. I would like to talk my uncle.
You're gonna have to get closer to the mic or something. We're having a hard time hearing you. That mic doesn't work. It's,
That's the mic?
there you, that one, yeah.
I'm shorter.
I know.
Didn't get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll make it work.
Marfi Bizita Zaman, 108 Oak Ridge Avenue, 32617, Temple Terrace. I would like to talk my uncle on my behalf.
Yes, my name is Fakir Hussain from 110 Oak Ridge Avenue. I'm her uncle, managing the project for her. We were found to be in violation of number of permits requirements, so we're not here to debate that. But it's just the circumstances how we came to this hearing. Once we were issued a stop work order, and again, I need to give a little bit of context so some of the member that hasn't heard about this case before. So before we even started any work, we had a pre-planning meeting with the city. And we discussed that we want to have a big expansion in the back, and we gave them site layouts and everything else. And they said, okay, everything looks good, you meet all the requirements, so go ahead and get this plan designed. So we were in the process of getting the whole expansion designed, including new mechanical, new everything is going to be done, brand new. In the meantime, the roof of the existing structure was leaking very badly. So we applied for a roof permit, and a roof contractor, a professional licensed roof contractor came into the work. And in the process of doing the roof work, it transpired that some of the trusses were really bad and some of the wood was eaten up. So we had to replace those to be able to support the roof that was needed. So it wasn't just we just started working, but part of that auxiliary work that we had to do, it turned out later we learned that that required for us to have internal, because there is no demo permit, the only thing we could have gotten is a renovation permit, which we didn't get. We just got the roof permit to do that work. So we were given a stop work order, and we stopped, doing any. There wasn't really any work going on anyway, because at that point the roof was already done, the inspection had passed. But they started questioning why are these other wood debris there, because of we had to replace some of the woods. So that was the context of the violation. And then we were brought to this board for this not being compliant in terms of the permits, because we were waiting for the extensive drawing to be done so that we could apply for the permit. So when we came to the board, it was a matter of technicality, because we did demo some of the wood to replace that we were found guilty, which, we accept that we were guilty. But the board chair, asked us, how much more time do you need? And at that point, we presented the drawing that was already built, and we said we need a little bit more time to, I should be able to put the application in within this month. So the chair said, if you needed more time, to put in your application, come back and ask us for more time. But in the subsequent meeting, we didn't come. The reason we didn't come is basically we had already submitted the planning permission. But the order was misunderstood by us, even though the verbal wording of the order was that, okay, go ahead and submit your application in. But what was really drafted and what was recorded was we have to be in compliance by the next meeting, which would have required 2-3 months, because by the time we submit the plan, it's get reviewed, we would have come back and asked for more time had we understood the order to be in compliant as opposed to just have the application in. So that was one misunderstanding at a later point. And even the earlier point was when we're given the red tag or stop work order, I had a conversation with the lady who gave us the stop work order, and I explained to her that we are in contact with city, we got the roof permission. I explained to her the whole thing, and she said, don't worry about this, I'm gonna set this whole thing aside. You don't have to worry about this at all, I'm gonna cancel this. And then a week later, she calls me back, said, well, I had a discussion with Mr. Amir, I know what conversation you've been having with him, but that's for the expansion, but we're going to have it, but we're going to set it aside. We're not going to prosecute it or anything, but we're going to wait until you have the chance to do your drawings and submit to us. So we're looking forward to your expanded drawings so you can do the proper permit. So at that point, I thought this is just being set aside until we have completed the drawing. And I was traveling overseas, and all of a sudden, my niece called me in a panic. He said, we got to go for the hearing. I said, for what? For this violation? We said, no, I spoke to the lady. She said she's going to wait until we have this thing in. But by the time I came back, we called a number of times, we emailed, things don't get called, I know the city is very busy, there's unlimited officials, but we didn't get a chance to discuss why are we being brought to the board when you gave me the time to build this thing. So that was a miscommunication at that one point, and then I had another misunderstanding in this board itself. And we were, we are now fully in compliant. We got in compliant as quickly as we could, as soon as we were able to get the drawings from the professional. This is not something I can draw. This is something we had to rely on engineers, and their time were affected because of COVID. They had lack of staff and so on and so forth. So having all this into consideration, we just feel like this was completely out of miscommunication and misunderstanding. And it is not that we intentionally try to evade any, creeping in any work without seeking awareness. So with all of this thing, we submit that our lien is reduced and our fine is dismissed.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Before you go, any questions for the respondent? Yes?
So I know you said you want your lien reduced. Is what the city is asking for, $615, acceptable by you?
I mean, I will accept whatever the board feels is I should pay, but I just feel the board asked me to come back the next meeting and ask for more time if I needed more time to be in compliant. And had I just understood that it meant that we already got the permit and paid for, I would have asked at the very moment that I wouldn't be able to, because the permitting process itself takes 6 to 8 weeks for it to be reviewed and processed. So that order would have been impossible for me to comply with. So I would have come back and asked for more time. So given this completely, that we were brought into the prosecution in the first place with the misunderstanding, and then we further had misunderstanding, I just hope that I just feel that we should not be fined. And at this point, not only we paid the $350 fine for the stop work order, every single permit that we had to get, as opposed to $100, we had to pay $700, $800 extra fee because we started the work without the permit. So on plumbing, on electric, on mechanical, even on the residential remodeling permit, we have paid excessive fine that we really feel unjustified. So at this point, we feel we have been punished enough for our lack of knowledge and lack of coordination. I don't feel any further fine should be imposed. Just my humble request to the board.
So from what he asking, I think it's listed here, your lien reduction request is 0. That's what you're looking to.
That is what I'm requesting. It is obviously up to the board, and we will comply with whatever the order is. But I just feel that this is not a guilty party trying to get sneak work in under the hood. We tried to do everything we could.
I don't know if we discuss that with you, David, later.
Well, whoever makes the motion, that determines the fine, so.
Well, we can do any motions that we feel
The discussion, yeah, you can make the motion. Discussion comes after the second.
From my understanding, also, when city cost is involved, is that true? We have to recover?
You don't have to do anything. You are an independent board. You make decisions based on the evidence presented to you this evening.
Okay.
I believe we discussed that if you're gonna do 0, you should have maybe reason. I think David asked last time that we have some kind of summary or justification so that he can go to the board and say, this is why, rather than just, we decide to do 0.
Okay.
Right, David? Sorry, I don't want to put words in your mouth, yeah.
No, you did, that's perfect. Those are good words. So we're okay.
You want try this one.
If you'd like to make a motion, feel free.
I would like to make a motion.
But we're not there yet.
Oh,
Okay. So any further discussions for the respondent? Thank you for your time. You can, at this point, I will entertain a motion.
Can I ask, are you, Mr. Brony, is your side of the story also that there was, it seemed like his lien kept ticking because he wasn't here at that last meeting when we didn't discuss it? Is that what the fine started keep going after that?
Yes.
Okay, so is it your understanding that it was a miscommunication like he's saying it was?
I can see what he's saying is
Yeah.
believable. I mean,
Yeah.
I do. But again, a lot of time has gone by here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Started back in January.
This has been going on for months.
It has,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So, honestly, if you make a motion of 0, I'm sorry, but I disagree with that. You know, you gotta be held accountable here. And when the board has ever made a 0 recommendation, it's only for a financial hardship. There's no financial hardship here. This has been going on for months. You gotta recover the city cost. I'm sorry, but that's my position here.
Going on for at least 7 months. So.
I'm sorry, you know, so this is not happening overnight, and I think I've said enough.
I have a question. You said that city cost is $615?
I'm not sure what my paperwork's
Yes,
over
yeah,
there, but
right,
that's what I
correct.
said,
That's the
yes.
math, yes.
That's correct. Sure. Can you tell me a little bit on how that?
Well, we base it on how many inspections the code officer
There was
makes.
13 inspections.
Right.
That's $485, and then there was clerk cost of $130
That's correct.
13 inspections by
by the code enforcement inspectors. What, sir?
Well, there's building inspectors that come out to your property, there's code inspectors. We have to come out to see whether, if we have to make contact with community development. There's a process, but we do inspections.
That's how he got to the 615. Any other questions? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
Thank you for your time.
In case number 20,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you say you were going to do it. Go for it.
2 volunteers. That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Go ahead, Rod.
in case number 20-4917 for the property located at 108 Oak Ridge Avenue, Temple Terrace. Upon hearing the facts and argument from the city and the property owner, I hereby move board recommend to the city council that the lien be reduced from $2,950 to $615, contingent upon the lien being paid within 30 days of the council decision, or it would be revert to the original amount of $2,950, and the city is authorized to enforce the fine in accordance with the law.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those, sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I would have an appetite to do half of that. I don't want to go to 0, but I think because there was miscommunication probable on both sides, he was out of the country, he's paid his stop work order, he's paid inflated fees for his permits. It took him 8 weeks, I guess, during COVID to get his permit. You know, I think he showed good faith and paid a lot already. I don't want to do 0, but I would do half, you know, as a gesture from the city, I guess.
300?
300, you know, $307.50.
That's half.
If you do that, I will take the 750 off. I'll make it 300 even.
Okay,
that
yeah, I'll call your raise.
I agree.
So you're making an amended motion from $615 to $300 even?
Yes.
Okay, we have an amended motion. Do we have a, hold on,
second it.
hold on, we're gonna get slapped.
As you're amending the motion and realizing that that's going to be below costs and there is a request, you know, that there be a basis, are you incorporating the comments made by Mr. Buckley as to the $300?
and hopefully the.
And you're gonna go to council and tell them with your suit on and say,
No, David's gonna do that.
I felt he's genuine. If something miscommunication, I know it's the city cost and all that. We would love to recover all the city costs. However, if he also paid extra fees,
right, I agree.
That's why I emphasize on extra fees. I think to be just fair, we the city cost probably got recovered a little bit out of that. Let's just, and I don't want to bring it to zero neither. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a revised motion, we have a second to the revised motion. Any further discussion?
Do we have we don't have oh, you seconded the.
I did, yeah.
Gotcha.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So just so there's no miscommunication, at the next, probably not the next, but when would this be heard by council? August? 15th of August, okay. 15th of July, okay. At the 15th of July city council meeting, I will make a recommendation to the city council that your lien be reduced from $2,950 to $300. That's a recommendation only. It's not official until the city council makes their motion to accept or deny the recommendation. So they could come up with their own number, but normally they take the recommendation. But I will be there to make the recommendation to have it reduced from $2,950 to $300. Should they approve my recommendation, you will have 30 days from that night, from that evening, to pay that fine of $300, or it reverts back to the $2,950. Yes, that's basically what I'm telling you is you need to show up at the next city council meeting.
That's council, not this.
Yeah.
It's in the same room.
Yeah, okay? But it's not a done deal yet. We still have to get approved by city council, okay? Okay, where are we going now?
We're going to skip to unfinished business.
Oh, so the rest of
That was a,
What?
that was a switch.
thought we still had
Don't we have these three?
We've got one case.
No, three.
three cases.
I know, but I have one that's here for unfinished.
Oh.
So we're gonna go to unfinished and then fill in.
And then we're gonna go
Okay, awesome.
back and go straight through.
All right.
Okay. So my unfinished, it's case number 20-1670, or 6017.
Okay.
City versus Munira Sultana for the property located at 12605 North 51st Street. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight.
Okay.
And he's right here.
And I assume it is currently not in compliance.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. State your name and address, sir.
Yes, my name is Shazad Rana. I'm the son of Munira.
Address?
12605 North 51st.
Okay, the floor is yours, sir.
Well, I was here last month, and I pleaded my case about the timeline, about the difficulties, the hardships we are going through. I just got an order in the mail, and I was just flabbergasted. I said, I already talked to you guys, and why I'm getting this order. So I am just not comprehending what's all about. In the meantime, I already fixed the, the corner of the roof, which was obvious, aesthetically it was not pleasing. I already fixed it. So in that point of sense, if you say I'm in compliant, I'm in compliant, I'm in compliant. But if you need something else done, I need some time for that because, as I said on my last meeting, I was out of the country since last year. In July of last year, I left the country. I got stuck overseas. I came back this past April 15th. My brother, he's with me here. Laurie spoke with him back in February, and they arranged to fix it. While I was overseas. He got COVID. He was in ICU for like 3 months. And I just dragged him with me just to show, like I'm not making it up. I have to take care of him. I have to take hospital visits and all that stuff. Plus, my parents are very elderly. My mother is a cancer patient. I have to take her. Basically, I'm taking care of all three of them. And I'm not working. The financing is an issue. The time is an issue. If I'm helping them, then I'm not working and I cannot make any money to fix whatever else is needed. It's a shed in the back of the house. It's detached. It has nothing to do with the house structure. And it's almost like 150 feet behind the house. I mean, from this, because the place is on an elevated plane, so when somebody goes to the street, I think they have a view, you know, but I have the pictures. I have fixed that soffit. Basically, the soffit needs new wood, new paneling, new drip line, and some fixing. I fixed it, so it's pleasing now. I mean, I have the pictures. You can see it yourself. If that's all it's done, I mean, we'll call it good. If other than that, I mean, I can come next month, July, whatever, 14 or 15, and do another extension. So I have no idea what you guys are going to recommend to me. But I mean, this hardship can come upon anybody, you know. I mean, I don't want anybody going through what I'm going through. I mean, I'm slammed for all corners. I have no help. My brother was, you know, he's a physical therapist, you know, he was running like a horse. Now he's crippled. I mean, he just walked with a walker. They have to do a lung surgery. Tomorrow I'm taking to TGH and doing some blood tests, and I don't know how long he's going to be in ICU again. So have some empathy or whatever, you know. I mean, we live in a community, you know, so one has to look for after other. I mean, everybody has a different circumstances. I mean, I saw the gentleman, you know, like the one with the broken chimney, you know. I mean, basically, I'm in the same boat. And I'm in earnest trying to do whatever I can, you know, to just satisfy your, whatever your needs are. I mean, we have been living in this community for like almost 15, 20 years now. My other brother owns a house in the 53rd Street. My mother owns it on 51st Street. So we are paying taxes. We are in compliance with everything. We are neighborly. We don't fight anybody. We don't have dogs barking at anybody. So, I mean,
When you say you made it aesthetically pleasing, like, what did you do to it?
Well, I put the new, I mean, I bought material. I mean, so first of all, I mean, I have been listening to stories here. Getting material is a big issue right now. Price of lumber has gone up like 4-folds. Some things are short. The contractors don't have time. They are already jacked up, you know, because of the summer or the rain, you know, they want to get finished. So everybody's backed up. So I have like a contracting company myself, and I'm like a handyman myself, so I did whatever I could myself. It's a small structure in the back of the house. So, I mean, that was the issue, that it was leaning, it was broken, so I changed the paneling, the new drip line. So, I mean, I can show you the picture. It is in my phone.
Could you mind having a seat? I want to ask Lori a question. You can sit down. Sure. Thank you. So he says he did some work. What's left?
Mr. Chairman, it still has a little bit of a dip on the roof. I advise the respondent that, you know, as far as repairs, any more than 100 square feet would require a permit. He let me know that he's not doing any more than that. So if he's done, I would just need to do a re-inspection of the shed, because I've only been able to see it from the street and then going up to the front door. Right. I've never had access to get behind the fence to really take a good look at it. Okay. So if I could do that, sir, I would be able to say, yes, it's in compliance, or no, it isn't.
Okay. So we don't know. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What's your pleasure?
Are you looking for a motion?
We're looking for a motion to either, I guess he's here to ask for more time, obviously.
I wanted to.
Sounds like.
I remember your case, and I remember when I left here that night, I didn't feel good about where, you know, we like to help people, but I just remember that you didn't really give us, like, we We just need to see like some progress, like give us some kind of like good faith where I'm gonna try to get it done in a month, and if you don't, you come back here like you are now.
Yeah, that was the first time. I didn't know the process.
Yeah.
Because I was new here, I don't know how things peter out. So after hearing people and seeing what's going on, I thought what I said that day, it was sufficient, that I needed some time.
I remember thinking that you just said, I can't do it. And I totally get that. But
because
we have to enforce that you have to do something because it's in violation. So, but we'll work with you. So like,
exactly.
You did show good effort and try to get it fixed. Do you think you can get it to where Lori's happy with it?
Yes, I can, but like I'm saying, I need time.
Yeah.
I need material. I think I called her, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and I showed her, look, I bought some material, and I'm trying to work on my own. But because I have to take care of 3 people, I don't have enough time, and I can't hire anybody because I don't have any money.
Understood.
So it's like a.
Well, there's a chance that it actually is in compliance now.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Aesthetically,
That'd
it's
be
in
great.
compliance, I mean,
chance.
it's not
We
like
don't know for
falling.
sure, but there's a chance.
But does it have to be structurally compliant? It has to be compliant from the street, I thought.
No, it has to be, it's a structure, it has to be,
It's a shed. Nobody lives under there.
And you're still required to maintain a shed.
Yeah.
The city has no problem giving them a 30-day extension.
okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Is that enough?
Well, come back again.
Well, you want to,
Well,
it's,
what if he doesn't, and then he goes into lien?
Well,
No,
she
we
came
would-
up to
we
the
would ask
fence.
for progress.
yeah, I mean, part of the reason for giving them just smaller amounts of extensions is to ensure they keep coming back if they need more. If you just give them 6 months, they're just gonna,
Oh, no, I don't want to give 6 months. You
So-
think you can get it done in 1 month?
If you give me like 60 days, there'll be.
The director just suggested that we give him 30 more
30
days.
I'm
So,
okay
I mean, he can, if you can't get it done in a month, come back.
I won't sit for like for 60 days and then come back. I mean, obviously, I will do a little bit piecemeal type in 30 days. I mean, if she comes in 30 days and looks at the fence, obviously then it's a moot point. Then I don't have to come back.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So I mean, if you give me 60 days, then it'll give me a little more breathing room. 30 days fine. Also, I mean, I can come next month and repeat the same thing and tell you the progress what I did.
Well, and that's a big thing. We just want to see progress to be made. Well, like you said, everyone has their own circumstances, and we're not here to put the hurt on anybody. So
Based on what he's saying, it sounds like it's almost in compliance.
it's close.
You're almost there.
yeah.
30 days, I think, should be sufficient. If not, come back again and request.
That's all I'm asking.
Okay, so, any other questions for the respondent?
And I kind of did want to see those pictures of the progress, if it's possible. Do you have a printout of it by chance?
No, I don't have a printout, but
That's okay. Next time, if you have to come back and you need more time, can you bring us something so we can see?
Or
Because
could he send them to Lori?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
See, it's a soffit. It was gone.
yeah, I remember it was completely caved in on the top, and
And and it's straight now.
yeah,
So I mean, Lori can come by,
Great.
and then she can take a picture and she can present it to you.
yeah, I'd say
perfect.
All right, so, I will entertain a motion.
I will do it.
Thank you.
I would, oh God, which one are we on?
6017.
In case number 20-6017, I move that we give the gentleman 30 days to rectify his violation, which is violation 12, section 8, 102, subsection 13, subsection M, and he has until July 14th to request more time or come into compliance.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. You have
Thanks.
30 days, sir. Okay, where are we going?
You're going back to,
Okay, if anybody needs to take a break, now's a good time.
Looks like Bill is.
Why I confer with the clerk for where we're going.
Do we still have quorum?
Well, Bill's taking a break, whether or not anyone else wants to.
Bill's
I told him.
son and tell him all the work he's got signed up for him. Signed him up for the roof.
I told him.
You were gonna be busy this summer, kid.
We're gonna go to 1228.
1228? Okay,
And then we're gonna work our way back down
okay.
in order.
Well, I think we're done with the first page. I
The
think
first
we
page
did 66, we did 85, we did 86. So, yeah, okay, so then 1228 is our next one. Okay.
We have these three, right?
Yes, we've got 3 regular hearing cases, and then we'll go to unfinished.
Okay.
I've got one,
So we've got, if I'm 28, 32, and 86, right?
28, 32, 86, yes.
Okay.
And then we've got 1 lien reduction,
Yep. Okay.
and then unfinished.
Finally back on the road.
Here to finish up, it'll be quick.
Man.
This is a long one. And thank you all for, we had some tough motions tonight.
Are we on an official break or are we still live?
Yeah, we're on official break.
Okay.
5 minutes, yes.
Let's not have my. You never know.
Oh.
It's okay.
number 21-1228, City versus Mary Catherine Rocha for the property located at 5419 Rainbow Drive. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 12-921, parking residential property. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, board members. Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated proactively March 11, 2021. During my inspection, I noted a vehicle parked on the front yard grass of the residence. This time I completed notice violation with compliance date of March 13, 2021. Posted notice at the front door of the residence as well as City Hall. Mailed copies both certified and regular mail to the address of the registered owner. During my inspection on March 15, 2021, I found no vehicles parked on the yard grass. This time I closed the case and bringing it into compliance. On May 5th, 2021, I observed a vehicle parked on the yard grass of the residence. Since it was in 45 days and the violation reoccurred, it was set for the MCB. This time I would like to submit photographic evidence. Notice posted at the front door, vehicle parked on the yard grass. Also, the property is in compliance. I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance, and I'm seeking a ruling.
Thank you. We'll accept that. Any questions for the code officer? Is there, and obviously the respondent is not here, so I will entertain a motion.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
Case number 21-1228, I move that the city has proven greater weight the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist at the property located at 5419 Rainbow Drive. Violation 12-921. The motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violation was brought into compliance prior to the date of the hearing.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next case, please.
Case number 21-1332, City versus Sadi Laforte Cusino and Osbrey Calzado Diaz for the property located at 5309 Rainbow Drive. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 12-921, parking residential property. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening again, Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated proactively March 16, 2021. During my inspection, noted vehicle parked on the front yard grass of the residence. This time I completed notice of violation with compliance date of March 18, 2021. Posted the notice at the front door of the residence as well as City Hall. Copies were mailed both certified and regular mail to the address of the registered owner. During my inspection on March 19th and March 30th, 2021, I found no vehicles parked on the yard grass. This time I closed the case and bringing it into compliance. On May 5th, 2021, I observed vehicle parked on the yard grass of the residence. Since it was within 45 days, then the violation reoccurred, it was set for the MCB. This time I'd like to submit photographic evidence. Notice posted at the front door, vehicle parked on the yard grass, and an affidavit of compliance. The property is in compliance. I'd like to request finding.
Thank you. We'll accept that. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
Case number 21-1332. I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 5309? Oh, they're both Rainbow. Okay, 5309 Rainbow Drive. Violation is 12-921. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, photos, affidavits, notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the day of the hearing.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next case.
Case number 21-1686, City versus Bureau Properties LLC for the property located at 8727 Beverly Drive. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 12-921, parking residential property. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening, Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated proactively April 6, 2021. During my inspection, noted a vehicle parked on the front yard grass of the residence. This time I completed a notice of violation with a compliance date of April 8, 2021. Posted the notice at the front door of the residence as well as City Hall. Copies were mailed both certified and regular address to the registered owner and agent. During my inspection, April 19, 2021, I found no vehicles parked on the yard grass. At this time, the case was closed and brought into compliance. On May 1st, 2021, I observed vehicle parked on the yard grass of the resident. Since it reoccurred within the 45 days, as was set for the MCEB. This time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violation. Notice posted at the front door, vehicle parked on the yard grass, also the property is in compliance. I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance, asking for a
Accept
finding.
that. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Go ahead.
Okay, in case number 21-1686, I move that the city has proven by greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exist on the property located at 8727 Beverly Drive. The code violation is 12-921. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violations be corrected on or before the next meeting, July 4th.
It's already been corrected.
Oh, this one was
Yeah.
uncompliant.
It's already in compliance.
I'm reading the wrong one.
They're all, it's the same up until I further move. It's really all the same, except for I further move that there be no fine imposed. The very last sentence of complied violations is.
Further move that there be no fine imposed.
Why?
Because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
Thank you.
I just wanted to mention something. It's case 21-1686, not 166. I
You
think.
said one, I thought
No,
I
I heard
thought I heard 1686, but
Yeah.
noted for the record, thank you.
Okay, just one.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. I think we are on to old unfinished business, correct?
Do we have another lien?
No, we did both of them.
We have one more lien.
We do have one more lien? Okay.
Petitioner didn't show up.
Oh,
You must show up for a lien reduction.
Oh, okay.
so we don't have another one.
We don't have.
Yeah.
Do
So
we
that,
have to make a motion or anything?
no, so,
The petitioner has to show up for a lien reduction.
so 108 Mission Hills did not show.
Oh, right, so
Okay.
it just keeps going.
Works for me.
It's a lien. It's not running anywhere.
Oh, they're not in
You can't ask for a lien reduction until you're in compliance for 90
Continue it
days.
then till next month?
Listen, yeah, if he comes and says he wants to be heard next July, yes, we present the case.
Well, I mean, would he have to file another lien reduction application, or is the same one?
I think we've used the same one.
Okay, but he has to show up.
He has to be here.
He's got to initiate it, yeah.
And the property's gotta be in compliance for 35 days.
Okay.
Before, just FYI.
Yeah.
Is it in compliance?
Yeah, you can't ask for a lien reduction unless your property's been in compliance for an X number of days.
But since he's not here, we don't have to do it.
Right. Okay, so we are on unfinished business. So I was right.
That's all that matters.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Always, David.
Case number 20-5509, City versus Ron Mudgerman, TT Holdings LLC for the property located at 12909 North 56th Street. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 20-5909, City versus Century Corporation for the property located at 8828 North 56th Street. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Officer Silver for Section 8-1661C dated June 9th, 2021. Case number 20-5942, City versus Tarmac America LLC for the property located at 7801 Industrial Lane. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 21-0604, City versus Anthony and Jillian Moore for the property located at 941 North River Hills Avenue. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight.
Yes, and I'd just like to update you, they submitted the paperwork for the permit, but it's not been approved yet.
Okay.
Okay?
And Case number 21-0755, City versus Ike C. Okiki and IDD Trust for the property located at 9780 North 56th Street. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. We've also got one case not on the agenda, case number 21-0179, City versus Christopher Lawrence and Thomas Power for the property located at 508 Herschel Drive. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Director Baroni for Section 10-34 dated March 13th, 2021.
Thank you. Is there any other board action?
Under new business, I wanted to bring up two things. Please don't kill me. I'll take like one.
No, that's okay. I have one item as well. So,
Okay.
okay, so there's no other new business. We've done the lien reductions. Anybody have any new business?
I have some new business. Please don't kill me.
Okay.
I just need 1 minute.
Go ahead, take your time.
I thought about this last time, and it came up again tonight. Samir brought it up, and that's how we calculate the city cost formula. I know we don't want to go, we don't want to cost the taxpayers of Temple Terrace money on these violations that, you know, these private violations. I was just curious on how the calculation itself, how it's being used. Like, I just wanted to see it, because, for example, if we go out 13 times, does it really cost the city 13 times? These are salaried employees, whether they go there or not. So I just think that that's something worth discussing on the board, if that's, you know, how we really want to calculate the city's cost. I thought what we did today was really great, you know, noticing the guy had paid so much fees, and we kind of took that into consideration. So true city costs, I think we should think about how we calculate, if we're really not going to try to go below it often. And then, yeah, we can talk of one. And the other item I just wanted to talk about was, I keep hearing that Temple Terrace's permitting is like notoriously bad, and I didn't know if there's any.
There is absolutely no fact-based evidence.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that might be sampling bias, because nobody ever says I love the experience of getting with.
Well, actually, people
Terrace.
have. I can
Yeah.
get you somebody, or I can get you a number.
I
of
heard
people.
both sides. I heard
Yeah.
people
I can
say
get you a
good
number of
things.
people that say they love working with the city of
Yeah.
Temple Terrace.
Yeah.
What happens is, there was a time, and I know because I was here, and that working with the city of Temple Terrace was difficult.
Mhm.
Okay? Those times are gone. If you ask those same people, when's the last time you tried to pull a permit, they will tell you, oh, it's been decades, but I don't do it because it was hard. Well, that was decades ago.
It's a very easy thing to parrot that it's hard.
Yes,
'Cause
it's
like
a very easy thing to parrot, but I will tell you on the flip side, they will tell you that the city is hard to work with during construction. 99.9% of the time, 99.99% of the time, our building department is correct in what they ask for, okay? There's always gonna be that interpretation time, and, you know, I sat on council when the one time they were wrong came before us. And it wasn't that they were right, but it was a voluntary, it was an option, and they were trying to force somebody to take the option. So they weren't wrong, they were just, you know, forcing them to take an option that the builder didn't need to take. In every other case, there's, you know, a number of commercial cases I can list for you, but I'm not going to, where the person building the commercial structure had a problem with what we asked them to do, and it turns out the city was right. So we hold the contractor's feet to the fire to make sure everything is done properly, and that's really for your safety. So when you go in there, it doesn't catch on fire, or the booth doesn't fall down on you, or the roof doesn't fall down on you. Our turnaround time is better than the city of Tampa. Our inspections are faster than the city of Tampa. I have a project in South Tampa where twice now, the city of Tampa inspectors have just ghosted us. They just said, I'll be there Wednesday at 3. They never show, they never tell you they're not coming.
Yeah.
Okay? So the rumors you hear are just that, rumors.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, you don't post on Facebook because you're so happy about the permitting process. And my point just came down to a simple question, and that is what we're doing consistent with other towns and cities as far as pricing and, you know, the service we're providing. And I have a feeling the answer is yes. I know our men and women do an awesome job. But I just kept hearing that, so I wanted to bring it up. I don't even know if it's under our remit to change it. If it's not, it might be council, but I just wanted to bring that up.
No, it comes up every now and again, and you're
Yeah.
right, you don't ever hear about the good stuff on
No.
Facebook. I mean, I tell everybody the same thing. You want to start a fight on Facebook, post anything and wait.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so
Let me just add one more thing just to what you say. And so, I've been on code enforcement for a while now, and yeah, I got multiple phone calls, and they're all complaining. The main complaint, I think, has to do with the code itself. I'm not really sure if some of the code is outdated or not, but that's my impression.
They don't understand the purpose of the code.
Yeah, maybe some misunderstanding, and usually, my response is talk to the officers. They're very helpful. They're there to help you. So I guess you're right. It's an education problem, and the perception out there is that the city of Temple Terrace is very hard to do business with. And that is just the perception. Every phone call
From a
is the same
business
thing.
standpoint as well. And that's
Well,
also not
business,
true
exactly,
also. Yeah.
exactly, absolutely. So, but that's what I really wanted to.
and I will tell you also, and hopefully people are listening, that the problem comes down to, for most code violators, is lack of communication with the code officer, okay? If your grass is too tall, you should cut it. I mean, we don't live in an HOA, and if you did, would probably be worse. I lived in HOA, and my neighbors had to get permission and were denied to paint their house the same color as mine. You should be able to do what you want if it's your house, right? It's a lack of understanding, and by the time it comes to us, it's been months, right? But if those same people picked up the phone and called the code officer or emailed the code officer to find out what they have to do, we're not, this particular board and the city as a whole does not use code violations as a revenue source, okay? The penalties we put out there are to provide incentive to get compliance with whatever violation there is out there. And we are, I think I mentioned this before, the city of Dunedin just won a lawsuit for $30,000 fine for somebody that just didn't cut the grass.
Yeah.
So we are not, I think, quite frankly, our $25 a day fine is probably low when compared to Hillsborough County or other cities. Hillsborough County has a much more broad, like parking ticket process versus what we talked about doing that before. They don't even give you time. They just, you get a ticket and you go in front of the magistrate, okay? So we are much more focused on the compliance side of things rather than the finding side of things. So in that respect, I think we are probably.
I was mostly thinking about the permitting and the cost, I guess, is where I was going.
All right, well, our cost of.
Can I just
Yeah.
want to clear, because I think there's a little confusion here. The stop work order is issued by the building official or building inspector. That's for work that requires a permit. So usually the fine attached to that stop work order usually goes to AC switch outs, companies that are hired that know they must obtain a permit. And they try to circumvent around getting a permit. So the $350 is attached to those people that electrical work, AC guys that do that kind of work, roofing, they all know they need permits. So those fines attach usually to those commercial businesses that are doing work at residential homes. That's the discretion of a mayor, whether he wants to issue a fine of $350 or not. So to a residential owner, they usually don't hit the fine for a residential owner.
Unless
It's
there's
for the, right, it's for those big corporations that do AC units every day, and they try to get away with $90 not obtaining a.
I will tell you, as far as just pure permitting cost, Temple Terrace is on the low side.
We are, okay. Do you
Okay.
agree with that? Like Plant
Yeah.
City, they're all higher than us?
So when we, no, but
And our
you're right, it's true.
turnaround time,
But
our
when we
turnaround
present,
time is better than.
Perfect, that's all.
want you to- when we present a case for permits,
Yeah.
the stop work order has nothing to do with us.
Yeah, and I was
That's-
only
that's-
talking about
That's
permitting.
community development's call.
Yeah.
We present the case because they need permits.
Right.
That's our job, is to present it to you, to make sure we bring enough evidence to you. As far as the stop work order, we don't get involved in that.
I just wanted us to be consistent
That's
with
fine.
other towns of our
We
size,
are-
and
we
if
are.
we are, then perfect.
Our turnaround times are better, our response times as far as inspections are better, the cost per permit is at or lower than most of the surrounding areas.
David, I agree with Dr. Sammer. I've been here for a very shorter time than him, and I've heard that. But I find within the short period that I have, that's why I wanted, and it's really good. How can we educate the public to really go and obtain a permit? A lot of people, sometimes they think it's not required. Everybody will tell you, oh, if I want to remodel my kitchen, it's not required. If I want, but they don't know. They really seriously don't know. Now the thing is also, I don't know if that's required. When contractors come and work in the city, do they have to register with the city with us?
They have to register with the city.
Is there any fees or fee? Do we? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not a contractor, but
First of all, you have to be licensed. And then
yes,
you have to be registered with the city. And I don't think there's a fee involved in that.
just register, so they can look you up.
So we can make sure that you're licensed.
Yeah, that's it.
It's all about the safety.
It's all to protect the citizens. So a lot of people don't understand these facts. So that's why
There's people that again, I know we saw some things on Facebook about people, they bought their car 2 days ago and they got tagged because they didn't have a registration. One phone call would have fixed that.
Yeah.
Okay, one phone call would have fixed that. And now all the other people that complain, it's a lack of communication or a lack of caring.
That's
what it boils down to.
So,
Sir.
I just wanted to respond to the discussion about the city cost and how it's calculated. My feeling is that the analogy I like to use is maybe garbage pickup. Like, okay, we have the same number of employees picking up garbage every day, right? So I can make an argument possibly that I shouldn't have to pay for my garbage fee because you got this, But the analogy to me with the code enforcement is this is like a special pickup. I mean, if you pay an extra fee, right, to have the special pickup for your garbage, if you have things that they won't normally take, right? So the officer's going out to inspect somebody's house and having to, put a notification on there, all that crap. That's like extra work, in my opinion.
Well,
It's like a special pickup for
I
garbage.
think I said this to you guys last time is, to me, if we don't collect city cost, each one of us are subsidizing that person's violation.
Right, that's kind of.
Yeah, same thing. So yeah, I mean, you could make the argument that, okay, we're paying them anyway, but they could be out scouring the neighborhood. If all they did was focus their attention on these 2 or 3 that come in front of us that we reduce, what happens to the rest of the city when people find out that there's nobody out there watching the store? Then the grass grows tall and the windows get broken and.
No, that's not what I'm saying. We're just basing this. We're using this calculation often, and the purpose of it is to get at what the city cost actually is. And I just think that there's room there for discovery or a discussion on what the cost actually is, because I don't think what we're using currently is the best version of what we can come up with. And if everybody else disagrees, again, this is just a thought I had the other day, because I thought, what goes into the city costs? Salaried employees, is that the right way to do it? I'll bring it up with the board. That's,
Well, it's their vehicles, it's
Mhm.
time. And, you can make the argument, okay, if they're salaried, we're paying them anyway. But they could have been doing something else instead of spending all their time on this particular violation.
Well, my understanding.
If we get recouped for that, then the citizens of Temple Terrace, again, haven't subsidized, having basically monopolized our code enforcement's time. They could be out doing other things and making sure that the entirety of the city stays within what we're supposed to. So we have a beautiful city. So our tree city stays nice. That's what it boils down to. And okay, it's only one violation, but if that happens over and over again, then you start to see that the whole city suffer.
Well, I mean, that's a long way down the road from what I want or anybody else, on this board wants. We all want to live in the beautiful city that we're very lucky to live in, and you know, it's just, we should be able to have discussions about how we're serving the public, and the calculation is one of them. And Amir hinted at it today.
There's no, we have tried, I don't know how many different ways of doing
I
this.
know three different ways.
Yeah, we've tried 3 different ways. There's
Yeah, I'd love to hear the different ways. Maybe the way we're doing it is the best way. I've only been here for a year and a half.
There's no perfect solution, and there's always gonna be.
We should just strive to be better, is all I'm saying, and talk about it, you know,
Well,
so.
I
Or
think
is it
what,
even within the scope of us? We're not.
Might
the
be a
city.
council thing.
Yeah, we're not the
I mean,
city.
It's, and quite frankly.
but we're
like you
making
did
this.
tonight, you have the discretion to change it. Okay?
Right.
So, you know, if you don't, like you did tonight, we had $615 that was suggested by the code officers, the ones that are there, the ones that I keep telling you, know more about these cases than we ever will. And this board changed the amount. That's your
Right.
discretion.
Council just seemed to have a pretty, like, they didn't like that, based on what you reported and the meeting that I watched. They didn't like that at all, and I was just, so it made me think,
But
is the way council's looking at it the best way, or are they just thinking they want the number to be at or above the cost? I think we should discover the cost.
I agree on certain cases, but in this particular case, that's why we changed, because I think it's understandable, and I think every council member will understand that's they were charged a lot of fees, doubled or tripled, whatever.
That's why I said.
That's why I agreed on changing my motion. That's the only reason, because they already
I will
paid.
repeat the discussion that we had here tonight
Yeah.
to them, but when we don't have that discussion, I don't have anything to repeat, and all I can tell them is what they decided.
Correct.
Ernie, I'm sorry, please don't yell at me.
No, I just wanted to caution not to talk about specific cases.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They are still.
I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, but we certainly, we can, I don't think it's not our purview to decide how city costs are established. If you wanna understand that, I think, we could probably send something, is there, I don't know, talk to Ernie, maybe there's something we can send you guys in an email or something, or have for you at the next meeting, but it's definitely not our purview to set how we determine city costs.
I was gonna say, it's not within the scope of this board to make that calculation.
But to
We
have
have
the
to trust the
discussion can be
city.
if we bring it to council.
Well,
That's all.
yeah, to have the discussion, but it's like, we have to
No, but
trust what the
it's-
city says.
It's an important part of our decision-making process, so it is very important, I think, for us to understand how that number, where that number comes from.
Well, I think I don't disagree with you.
I mean, I understand
But
law
if-
is law, I get
But
that.
if tonight, you were presented with what was presented as city cost,
And then we changed
and
it.
then you changed it, okay? So, however that was calculated, you were told that was city cost, okay? So, you don't seem to have a problem with the calculation as much as you have with the
Amount.
The amount.
I think you lose the focus. I'm only making a recommendation.
Yeah.
Yeah, understand,
Yeah.
I understand.
So it's not locked in,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
You have to be consistent. You must be consistent.
Yes.
You're all over
Right,
the
but the
place.
cit, the city council seems to think it is locked in.
Well, I think last time there wasn't a discussion about why we lowered
No,
it.
there was.
And we couldn't justify it.
Right, that's exactly right. It
I'm
wasn't
sorry?
it wasn't so much that they're locked, I mean, obviously, as a general rule, the city as a whole, our council, our city manager, our code enforcement directors, we would like to recoup the cost for the violations at least.
Why
Okay.
should taxpayers pay for
I agree.
somebody else's violation?
And if we are gonna change it, we have to justify it, which the last months, we didn't have that discussion about, oh, he paid extra fees here and there, whatever. And so we couldn't justify it at that conversation. Now, when he goes to
And
present this one,
quite frankly, I don't think, if he came back to you and said, look, it's one guy, 8 hours, 17 trips, or 2 hours, 17 trips, that would not have made a difference in the discussion tonight.
right.
You guys would have done the same thing.
Well, I mean, it would have made a discussion, because if they had 13 trips, but if they had 7 trips, it would have been 350, and we wouldn't
They
had.
told you 13.
They did say 13.
But what if it was 3, you know? The amount of trips.
They told you it was 13.
I know, we're just hypothetically, there's really no correlation between how many trips there are and the severity of what we're looking at. It can be 3, it can be 30. And you know, just because somebody goes out there doesn't mean it's, you know, 30 times, doesn't mean it's 30 times worse than if somebody goes once. It's just kind of, it seems like an arbitrary thing we should maybe look at.
We can look at it, but the number of trips they make is not arbitrary. He told you
They,
they
I
make.
think you're thinking the cost per trip.
Right,
The
yeah,
cost per trip.
yeah.
Correct.
I'm assuming he's got like an Excel formula where he puts in the amount of trips we've got, and it's very basic, and I just wanted to see it and think if we can do it better. That's all. And we should probably go home tonight.
So the
Make a motion to talk about this.
the lien itself to be recorded too, it costs the city, so that's.
Correct.
Well, and there's, well, plus, there's other costs that we don't recoup. Just
And you're working on that particular
we had
case.
2 or 3 cases where, you know, we went out there once or twice, they finally came in violation. In the meantime, we've sent them, you know, sending certified mail is not that cheap, okay? So there's costs on the other side that we never recoup. So, you know, if we can get an opportunity to recoup inspection costs, we still have the cost that doesn't get funneled into that. We're still upside down, sort of, kind of, right? We should strive to do that. If there's extenuating circumstances, like you guys discussed tonight, the guys, you know, whatever they were, I'm not gonna get into the details of the case, then you should put that on the record. That's all we're saying.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed.
But as a general rule, we should strive to not have all the citizens of Temple Terrace subsidize someone else's code violation.
Agreed.
Well,
Yeah, I don't think, you're not arguing that, you just like to know.
I don't
how
think
how we
that's the
calculate it.
discussion that we're having right now. We could argue that, but I don't think it would serve a purpose.
We want
I think this board and this body does its best job if we generate no revenue throughout the year. We shouldn't generate revenue. It shouldn't be our purpose. I think we should meet the city's costs, ideally dollar for dollar, and no more. That's all. You know, we're a community.
Yeah, and that's what I've said every time.
Yep.
Cool. So what's the action on that particular item? Do we go to council with it? Do we talk about it next time?
Well, I mean, you know, I don't know, is there, talk to Ernie, if there's a way to get to this board, your methodology of how you calculate cost, let's start there.
Okay.
If that satisfies what your question is, then it'll end there. If it doesn't satisfy, we'll have another discussion.
Sounds good.
Everybody can think about if there's a way we can calculate it better. You know, that's all. That's the only thing I wanted to bring. That's the only reason I brought it up.
I like his way.
Well, that's fine. Maybe that's what
Tom does a great job, obviously. It has nothing to do with that. It's about us thinking and putting our heads together and thinking, are we doing the best job for the city? And I don't know what goes into the calculation, and I just want to know.
That's fine.
Ernie worked for Tampa for many, many years, and he could probably, we won't get into it right now, but I can tell you other municipalities, they only give you 50% lien reduction.
Yeah.
I mean,
At most.
We're down to like 10%.
Mhm.
And we're almost, a lot of people feel as though we're giving away the store.
Yeah. I see.
So,
Yeah.
just say, like I said, if there's a $300,000 lien, is the property worth $150,000 or $300,000?
Right.
No. You gotta use common sense here.
Of course.
And everything's, taken into factor here.
And you know, having sat in this chair multiple times, we have looked at a number of different formulas to calculate that.
You have.
Yes.
I'd love to see what came out of that thought
I
session.
don't even know if we still have it, but, we remember Andy Ross came up with something?
That was complicated.
The lien reduction matrix.
That was complicated.
But I'd love that you had that conversation though. Like you just said, you don't think that's correct because it's not based on the value of the property. That's not really a good way of doing it. You know, I just think we should talk about it again. And if you've already done that, you know.
It was based on, you know, there was some subjectiveness to it, which we tried to get away from.
Yep.
And remember that I feel also, this is all just to enforce those rules and those codes.
To get compliance, yeah.
Get
Yeah.
compliance.
That's what we're here for.
And you know, there is something, if some people feel like, oh, it's nothing. That's why I'm afraid of that dog parking thing. Because if you say, you know, pay $500, she'll pay $500, the dog keeps parking. That's,
Can I just give you
yeah.
an example? That gentleman here with the roof tonight, he's got financial issues, he's got medical issues.
We can't really talk.
Yeah,
If
let's,
there's a
I-
$30,000
I-
lien, do you think that guy should pay $15,000?
I mean, absolutely not.
No, so that's why, I feel like when I put my calculation together, I thought the presentation, his application, I try to take everything into account. So there's a lot put into these lien reductions.
100% agree with you,
So
Tom.
I think it's just 13 inspections, city clerk's cost is more of a factor here.
Yeah, and maybe,
So I think,
like I said,
I'm not
get with
trying to pat
Ernie.
myself
I don't
on the
want to,
back.
I don't want us to give away anything that's proprietary
Right.
or confidential or anything. But get with Ernie. If there's an email you can put together to give these guys some kind of clue about the inner workings of Tom Baroni's mind.
It's very complex and macros and
We're
all
gonna
these
have a
things
big old
to
book.
explain to us.
violation is different.
Understood.
Yeah.
And I think
Understood.
you've got to remember that.
Yeah, and again, you know, I know you're busy, so please bear with him. If it takes longer than the next meeting, that's fine.
Yeah. I just want to see the Excel template. That's literally all.
In light of the conversation, I just do want to say, so that there's no confusion, you know, the finding out how is one thing, and that's fine. But to the extent that you know, the board may want to have the calculation done differently, or whatever, that's not with, yeah, I just want to make that
Yeah.
clear. I don't want there to be a miscommunication. That would be, you know,
That's not what I'm hearing.
an
Everybody
operation.
wanna just understand. Now, you know, who knows, maybe they take that and they wanna go to council and change it, but,
I only have 3 more things I wanted to bring up. I'm just kidding.
so I do have one,
To be shutting off pretty soon.
I just have one thing.
What's the city's cost on this meeting? It's pretty high. I like
know
costs.
it's late. I know this is probably one of the latest meetings we've ever had with this board. But I do wanna thank you, because we did have some kind of outliers tonight, and you guys handled it very well. But I also want to remind each one of you that, especially when we get into these outliers, be very careful about the questions you ask, especially the respondents, because you want to make sure that we keep our eyes on the prize, and, you know, ask them questions that are absolutely only pertinent to the case. You know, what they do for a living doesn't matter. What time they get home at night doesn't matter. It's got to be pertinent to the case. But you guys did a great job tonight, and I thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned.